All right, we're going live. Cutting that timer short. So, how's everyone doing tonight? Let's see who's in here before we get started. Let me grab some of my blueberry tea. Blueberry tea that's actually like purple, which is weird, but it's good. Ready for another Joseph Scotto stream. Let's go. How's it going? Radio TBO? Make sure my phone's not playing stuff. I feel like my phone has sound coming through. Let me turn the stream off there. Alright, so I'm going to switch to my overhead here, because I just want to get started with this. This board is the ScottoAlp. Now, originally what this was is actually, I'm going to switch to my screen because I got to show it. It is called the ScottoAlp for a specific reason. So we'll load this up. I don't want that. Let's just go to my website. And the ScottoAlp... Oh my god, I can't even type. Originally, this board was a Alps keyboard. I want the blog post. Where's my blog post? So these are original Apple keycaps here. It's a 4x10 layout, so we have four columns, then 4 rows here, or 10 columns and 4 rows. And then this was originally built with Alps keycaps, or Alps switches, so Alps orange. But I also made it compatible with MX switches, so this is actually a commission from someone. They wanted this, and they wanted it extended to a 12-key layout, so it has 12 columns and 4 rows and extra keys here. We're going to be building this with some Acco Lavender Purples. How do you get that Arduino Pro Micro with USB-C? I have on my website, but you can just find them anywhere too. Just search up Pro Micro with USB-C, or just go to my website, you'll find them on there. But it has USB-C, so we'll be building with that. But I think we're just going to jump into this, and we want to probably start with the stabilizer, because it is a 3U spacebar. So we have this here, which is a custom spacebar. You can see that this wire is actually my own wire. I ended up making that because I didn't have any 3Us, but this works out a lot better because I kind of balanced it properly so it won't click as much. So I want to start with that. I'm going to do a holy mod on this, so I need to grab some Band-Aids. So I have just a Band-Aid here. And we are going to holy mod this just to make it sound a little bit better. Which I used to use for this, if I have it. I used to use this bandage tape, which does work too, but I found that Band-Aids actually work better. It's kind of like a stickier material. We'll just take this. I want to get this cut thin enough that it will fit in the stem. First time coming to a live, I really enjoy your videos. Thanks for doing this. I'm glad you enjoy my videos, and I am glad that this will hopefully be helpful in helping people along the hand wiring journey. Where did that just disappear? Oh, there it is. Stuck to the bottom of my scissors. When are you going to make a gasket mount keyboard? Actually, very, very soon. I literally have it behind me. I'm not going to grab it now because I don't want to roll over there, but I have a video planned for a gasket mount hand wired. It's the Katana. Is that too big to get in there? This is what I hate about the holy mod. It's such a pain to get these the proper size. So you have to like cut it a million times, but this does make a pretty substantial difference in terms of stabilizer sound, so I do this to most of my stabs now. That should be about right, maybe? Maybe? Let's see. Will that fit? Maybe. Let's see. Trying to get that thing through there is so hard. I'm trying to get a tweezer. Sometimes tweezers help with this. The song has like footsteps in it. It sounds weird. Are there actual footsteps? Is someone walking above me right now? Can't tell. This is what I hate about holy mod. It's just so hard. And this is what probably most of you aren't here for, is watching the modding of the stabilizer, but I have to do this to start the build because this is kind of essential to everything else. But let's try to get this cut right there. That might be right. Hey, Dr. G, what's up? What are the advantages of each one? Hi, I'm new to keyboards. Well, I mean DIY keyboards. I'm looking forward to making and designing a custom macro pad. What microcontroller should I choose? A Pro Micro or a Pi Pico? I'm trying to read. I would go with RP2040s. I'd go with probably a Pro Micro RP2040. So search Pro Micro RP2040. That's the new board that I've been using recently that I really enjoy. The Pro Micros, the reason I'm using a Pro Micro on this, so let's talk about that for a second. The reason I'm using a Pro Micro on this is that it's what I pretty much used since the beginning of like doing these boards. And when I'm sending out like a board to a client or someone, I'd rather use a board I'm really familiar with and know how it operates and know how it handles with the case and connects on different computers versus something that's kind of newer to me that I don't really know. So the Pro Micros are good. They're just pretty expensive for what they are. We're here for you, Joe. We'll watch some stab modding. It's just such a pain. I mean, this one, like, look at this. This isn't even like, it's too small now. Or is that perfect? That might be perfect, actually. Why RP2040? It just has a lot more memory. So this right here is an let me grab it. Let me actually grab it so I can show you this. I can show you this board. So this is actually I'm doing some stuff with LEDs here, which is kind of cool. These will probably power up actually. Oh Jesus, it's so bright. But yeah, I'm doing stuff there. Well, more on that later. But this is an RP2040 board, right? You can see there's the RP2040. This is a Pro Micro with a 32U4. This board has like 32 kilobytes of flash storage, so you're kind of limited in what you can do there in terms of key maps and like features and stuff. You'll literally run out of memory. This one has 2 megabytes, or this one has 16 megabytes. This is one of my 16 megabyte boards, but the typical for an RP2040 is 2 megabytes of flash, which is a lot more than 32K. So it does last. It's just a much better board. It's a much more future-proof board. It's a lot more capable of stuff, and they're relatively cheaper in terms of chip design. So yeah, they're just better boards overall. But these are just so well supported. The Arduinos, the 32U4, there's pretty much documentation for any feature you want. So these are more supported. These ones are newer and just a lot faster. Any limitation in terms of firmware? No, there's no limitation. You can run, well, you can run QMK. You can't run ZMK on them, but pretty much you're only going to be running QMK and KMK. But let me get back to modding the stabilizer. Try to get these exactly the size I need. Right there? Is that right? That might be too big. Let's see. Come on. Come on. That is perfect. Let's go. So yeah, you kind of put that through there. And then tuck it in. Perfect. We have one modded now. Well, we have to still lube it, but this is the beginning of it. All right, let's do the other one. And why a Pro Micro with RP2040 instead of Pi Pico RP2040? It's the same chip. It's just the size, like the dimensions. So like the RP2040 Pro Micros are this size with an RP2040. The Picos are about this size. So if you want a smaller board. All right, let's cut another little strip here. Where'd it go? There it is. Hey, Zach, you're here. How's it going, dude? See, they just pop out. It's just such a pain, this holy mod. It does really annoy me, but it makes such a difference. So it really does make a difference. Let's try to cut that. There we go. All right. There are our two beginnings of the holy mod right there. You can see that is started. Let me make sure that my auto scroll is on this too so I can see my chat. All right, let me grab some lube. I'm going to be using some, see my head there real quick. Use some 205 grade 0 in there. I just refilled this, so I have a bunch of lube there. And then I need to find my paintbrush right there. So let's do the housing first. And I do put a lot of lube on my stabilizers, just gives it a better feel and sound. And these aren't like anything special. These are actually just some AliExpress ones here. But they're actually, I think they're based on the Durox, and I've been pretty happy with them. So they're not bad. Alright, get that one done. Where'd my other one go? Those, and I always like to do the actual stem a little bit too. Doesn't the Gazoo method work on stab housing? I'm not too familiar with that method. This is just the way that I do. I used to use dielectric grease on these, but I found it's too thick, so I use just 205. If I'm actually not lubing the entire switch, I'll use dielectric. If I'm lubing the switch here, why don't you crimp the stems? I don't know if I want to on these. It might make it feel weird. I'm just gonna see how it is without first. All right, let me put these in here. Try not to get too much grease on me. That way. I'm getting all slimy from the grease. I'm all slimed up now. Where's my custom bar? So I think I mentioned earlier, this is a custom 3U. I'm all slimy right now from the grease. But this is a custom 3U stabilizer. This is 14 gauge wire. So you can basically make whatever size you want stabilizer if you get wire. You just have to kind of bend it properly to get it the right dimensions. It can be a little bit of trial and error. I did that off stream yesterday, but I'm just going to grease these up. Put a nice generous coating of 205 on here. We'll get that into the housing. And I might have to mess with these stabs more because they are custom, but that feels pretty decent. Do you think that for a macro pad or 3x4 and no, an Arduino Pro Micro would be okay? Yeah, an Arduino Pro Micro would be fine, just a standard one. You'd be fine with that. I mean, I would recommend going with a Pro Micro one, or an RP2040 one. But a regular Pro Micro would be fine if you're a little conservative with your images on an OLED. Pop that in there. Is that backwards? Do I have that backwards? No. There we go. Feels good. Wow, I didn't realize that was a cable. Yeah, no, that's literally 14 gauge copper wire right there. I cut some extra somewhere too in case I need to make one, but that should be good. So I can actually test this now. Let's see how this will work. So pop that in there. And we'll take a switch. We're using lavender purples. Goes really good with the case. Now, funny story about these actually is that originally this board was going to be Holy Pandas. It was going to be drop Holy Pandas. We ordered them on, I believe it was like the end of December towards there. And the ship date was like January 17th. The 19th rolls around. I end up emailing drop, or I emailed the client. I'm like, they're taking forever. They haven't indicated anything when they're going to ship. They're supposed to ship 2 days ago. Do you want to go something else? They were fine with these, so we're going with the lavender purples, which I think are better than the Holy Pandas anyways. I think they feel better for a tactile. But literally an hour after I sent that email to the client, I get a message from Drop saying that the switches have been pushed down to mid-April. So good thing I messaged them for that. But let's pop one of these out here and take a look at how the stabilizer works just to make sure that we're good. It's like a perfect color for that case too, or that like matches perfectly. That looks so good. I really like the color theme they chose here, the pink, blue, and pink. I think it looks nice. Let's grab my space bar. Now let's see, moment of truth if this will work or not, because, oh yeah. That's not bad. Feels pretty good. No tapping, so we have a perfect Holy mod on that. Very happy with that. All right, so now we can actually start wiring this board up for real. So I'm gonna pop this off. I'm gonna grab my switch here, put my keycap back in. Very flashy. Yeah, no, yeah, like I think I really like what they wanted here. These are those keycaps that were printed on my P1S. Now, the thing I will say about these is that they do look a little weird because they do have the printing texture, but you don't really feel it as much. You'd think you'd feel it more, but you don't. They're printed at like 0.12, so they're kind of printed like that on the printer. So like if you imagine my finger as the build plate, they print at an angle. But Joe, where is the best place to contact you? I'm from Brazil. Probably if you want to contact about like anything like commissions and stuff, my website, there's a contact form. Anything else, my Discord server, just go in general and I'll see it. But there should be a link in the description on this video if you want to join my Discord. But yeah, let me put those back. Let me grab some switches. Just dump these all out here. My workspace is already becoming a mess. This happens when I build, but you can also see that these slots here, I do want to mention, you can see that they're a little bit wider. I think I mentioned before, these are for ALPs actually. So they are ALPs or MX. You can kind of see that we have like the recessed section for MX in the middle, but it's called the ScottoAlp because it's compatible with ALPs, and originally it was made with these right here, which are just some ALPs. But we're going to go back and let's pop these switches on in. And I don't know if I'm going to get the firmware done today. I might stop after I wire up the matrix and maybe do another stream tomorrow of like wiring the rest of it up. We'll see how far we make it because this is obviously a lot more in depth than my last build I did live, my little macro pad. But yet again, I've also wired boards like this a lot more, so we'll see where we end up. I do have to change the firmware though to be a 4x12, which should just involve adding 2 more pins, but I have to modify the matrix and we'll talk about that when we do that. But for now, I'm just gonna do this part. I confirm he's active and easy to reach on Discord. Yeah, just don't spam me with pings. Just that's the one thing I ask. Just you know, maybe one ping's okay, but don't spam me with them. No one really does that, but you know, just mentioning. I tried printing the keycaps, but they didn't fit on my switches. Does printing at 0.12 help? Yeah. So if you printed them at 0.2, you're gonna run into issues with them fitting on your stems. The 0.12 is what really allows them to get the stem at that angle, right, without sagging. Because if you think about it, there's like 3 more layers for every 0.2. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me, probably not you. But just 0.12 I highly recommend. I wouldn't recommend going lower than 0.12 with a 0.4 nozzle, because you could run into some other issues there. You could maybe try 0.18 or 0.08, but 0.12 should be more than fine. Any reason why you're making the switches north facing? That's just how I always do them. I always do them north facing. Some people say that it causes issue with cherry stems, but I'm not concerned about that because we're putting these on here. So, should be fine. Does that stabilizer look okay? The stabilizers always worry me on these boards. They really worry me because they're just hard with the plates, the 3D printed plates. But typically, once they're good, they're good. It's just getting them there. So we might have to mess with that more later. Why do people prefer ALPs? For the sound, the feel? Both. They feel really good and they sound really good. And I think there's also part of it with the ALPs is that, you know, they're really old switches, right? So it's kind of like a flex factor if I'm using 40-year-old switches. Like my original ScottoAlp, the one here, these switches I think were 1987, so that's like 40 years, right? Is that 40 years? 35 years, something like that? So yeah, they're pretty cool, but... Come on, get in there. There we go. The tolerance of this plate, too, I'm very happy. They're, like, perfect. Sometimes on my Bamboo Lab behind me, sometimes on that printer, it'll make plates a little bit too loose, which isn't, like, terrible. I mean, the switches will still click in, but these have, like, perfect tolerances, so feeling good about them. I keep stabbing myself with the switches on the back, the pins. What profile did you use for your stabilizer? I have the exact same style of switch and I can't seem to get the right profile on the plate generators. Let's actually show that right now. I will gladly show that because it's pretty simple. So if we go to AI03 plate generator. That's not what I wanted. What is that on Chrome? So we'll go here and I'll just pull in one of my KLEs. Actually, we'll just pull in the ALP one actually because I believe I have that. There it is. Case, we have KLE.json. Let's open this with VS Code just so I can copy what I need. I think I need, do I need all this? Let's see. That work? Yeah. So by standard, we'll do this one. I always go with the Cherry MX Basic on that one and then Cherry MX Spec. So you do have to modify this a little bit. You can see that it has this, so you have to kind of trim that. But if you go with the spec, that's according to the actual Cherry spec. And actually, another thing on here. Make sure you turn off all this. Set all of this to 0. I always set this to 0 on all of these because I don't like it rounding anything for me. So you can delete that and set them to 0. Does this give you a printable file? No, this does not give you a printable file. You can download the DXF, and then that's like a sketch format you could pull into any CAD program and then extrude it out. But it doesn't give you a printable file. It gives you a file ready for CAD. Flinging a switch across the room. That actually looks really cool with the purple. It doesn't come across too well on like video there, but like in person, the purple is almost an exact match. Like it looks really good. I'm happy with that. And I think the sound test on this will be pretty good too when we eventually get to that, which probably won't be tonight. It'll probably be tomorrow, but I'll probably stream again tomorrow on the firmware and rest of it. But I want to at least get the matrix done tonight. That's amazing. I literally tuned in for advice on tolerances. No problem. You can always like mess with the tolerances too later on. Once you get like your board design, you can always like pull them out a little bit. I don't find that I need any tolerances for like switches and stuff typically other than what it gives me, but you can always mess with it. But there's that. That's like very purple. It's very nice. But I'm going to clean up my mess a little bit here because I want to try to work on staying a little more organized when I work. It makes me a little less stressed, I guess, if I don't have crap everywhere, right? So let's take this baggie, put this over here. This back. Get these band-aids out of the way. Alright, so what we're going to start with, we're going to pop this out. We're going to start with the columns on this. So I have a bunch of copper wire I just got ready here. Just have a bunch of copper. And I'm going to do the columns, so this way. And actually, these are not 5-pin switches, so these are a little bit more annoying in some ways. Because you see we don't have like a pin out there to hold it. So you have to kind of hold it like that, which is fine, but let's start this. And I'm going to have to check what I have on here for... If you're not aware, on my website, actually, all my boards have these diagrams on them that tell you exactly which pins to go to. So I'm going to actually do that for this board, and then I just have to add 2 more columns later. But I'm going to be following this as I wire it. So I'm just going to start cutting these where I need them. So it looks like I am going to want to bend this way. So these are parallel pliers. These are what I use to bend stuff. They just make it really easy. Oh, that was a massive bend. Did not mean to bend it like that. Jeez. There we go. I get that aligned the way I want it. And I probably need a bend right about here. Right? That seems about right. Now these aren't too crucial to get perfectly bent because you can still pull it kind of the way you want. So you can see that sits basically about perfectly right there. Do you have any plan on making a keyboard with a trackball? One day, I was actually looking at trackballs recently, but it's not high on the list of things to do. There's a lot to learn in order to do it. But we'll take that. I just have to bend multiple like that now. Seems about right. I don't know if I'm enjoying this music right now or not. I'm debating. Dactyle soon though, right? Eventually, yes. I do want to do a dactyle build. That's been on my list for a long time to do a dactyl, but I just haven't done it yet. Perfect. Is your dent slash fusion section in epidemic? Do you mean gent? Dent? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I know they have like metal. Perfect. All right, so we have those there. Let's get these ones cut. Normally when I do a video, I would actually pre-prepare. But I'm doing this on a live stream, so I figured I'd just do it all here. That means you have to watch me cut wires for a little while here. Gent. No, I don't think there is. I know there's metal. This one can go here. Let's bend this last one. I'm not feeling metal, though, right now, or anything heavy. Just some jazz. Oh, that one I got perfect. Like, first try. Let's go. Now, how am I doing these on here? So I do spacebar, blank, and then, okay, so I do round them to the next ones. Okay, so that is exactly what I want. Perfect. So we need another wire. That's about right. Now, the thing you have to be careful about when doing this, though, is make sure that this doesn't get too close to the pins on the switches, because then you could, of course, short out. But we could still kind of pull these where we need, so you can see, like, down or up if you need to, but just something I'm always watching out for. Are you going to do any insulation on the column wires? No, so not on these. I will not be insulating these. But when I go across right here, so the rows, I insulate the rows typically. If I'm doing a column stagger, so like the Scotto fly, I'll do it opposite of this. But I'll be using these, and then I cut a bunch of little heat shrink tubing with like some glue in it. So that will help. But I'll show that later on once we insulate everything. I always start with the easiest part, which are the columns like this, because you don't need to insulate. You just kind of go through and tack them all on. It's pretty quick once you get your wire bent. But that right there looks good. Let's grab that. But listening to more stuff like Polyphia. I like Polyphia a lot. I listen to a lot of prog, like off stream, but I can't listen to stuff like that on stream because, I mean, I could technically listen to it on stream, but it's just afterwards when it goes to a VOD, it would get copyright strikes, so, or I'd have to mute the whole thing. I'd rather just not do that, so it'd be nice if I could listen to that, but I can't. Alright, so after this last one here, we'll be good to start wiring. Well, not start wiring, start soldering. Is this one perfect size? Let's look at that. Perfect size for that one. Then we have one last one. Goes right here. Look away while we cut. Alright, good. Alright, we got everything on there. Let's start soldering this up. Let me get my plier back in here. Now I want to show this too. This thing's really cool. I found this model online, this like 3D print for my iron. It uses a ball bearing. So like I have this little thing with like my battery and everything on it. It's perfect. It's the greatest thing. So I have that, and then I could just move it wherever I need it. Put this over here. Hello, Joy. Sent the message on your Discord with the user Tech9. Let me see if you sent something. Someone's ranting on the server right now. I'll take a look later. I want to keep building this, but I will look. Alright, so let's begin wiring up our columns. And let me crank my filter here, so I can not suffocate. This one's a little not like how I want it. That looks about right, right? A little bit close, but it's fine. Alright, where'd my other one go? Must have moved that one. Alright, there we go. Alright, so now we can begin this. And I think I showed this once before, but I've used this tip now. This is a KU tip, which is a little bit wider, so it allows me to kind of get more heat across the entire wire. It's really helpful. Put heat into that. I'm actually going to go to 350 for this. When I'm wiring copper like this, I like around 350 on my iron. Just works a little bit better. So pull some heat into there. Our solder. Let me get you guys a little bit closer here. My camera's going to shake for a second. I apologize. There we go. It's about maximum punch I can do on this lens, but... I always start from, like, the middle pin. Because if you heat from the middle here, it kind of goes out to the edges. It just works a lot better. Because once that iron, or once that copper starts to get really hot, you don't want to touch it, but it just makes everything easier. Hey, Scott. Scotto, it's with an O. Everyone always calls me Scott, and I'm so used to it at this point. Like Scott with an O, but is there a way to use an ESP2866/32 as a nice nano alternative for wireless controller? I'm not sure. I think you can't use the ESP controllers. There are, so I don't like mentioning these, but if you go on AliExpress in search of NRF controller, you can find clones of the nice nano. I don't recommend them, but if you have no option, you can get those, and they're about like $7. There are issues with them. They have power issues. They're not as efficient, but if budget is a concern, those are definitely an option you could look at. And they will give you full ZMK Bluetooth control. It's a little wide, but that's fine. Just joined on the stream. Did you use copper wire for the stab? What thickness of wire are you using? So yes, this stabilizer here is a 3U custom with a piece of 14 gauge. I don't want to grab it, but that is 14 gauge wire, and it is also wholly modded. And I just dropped all my wires. But yeah, we'll deal with that. Let's put these off here. But yeah, 14 gauge. So that's 14 gauge. This is 16 gauge. The 14 gauge just fits better in the housing of the stabilizers. This music really sounds like, if anyone has seen this show Severance, we're 41 viewers. That's the highest I've ever been. That's awesome. If anyone's ever seen Severance, this sounds very similar to like the opening titles for that. Great show, by the way. Absolutely fantastic show, but congrats on 10k subs. Have you ever designed a gasket mount case? Thank you. Yes, we're going to be doing the Scotto Katana with a gasket mount. I have it behind me. I would grab it, but it will be gasket mounted. This music reminds me of Minecraft. Problem is with AliExpress, they take 40 days to ship to my country, plus they have lost my package already. Yeah, that is the AliExpress struggle, yes, but I mean, that's kind of your option if you want a cheaper controller. It's either you pay for shipping or you deal with AliExpress, you know, that's kind of how it is, unfortunately. To make sure that I'm not holding this, I was looking at chat and holding my iron on the thing while I was looking at chat, and that was, could have melted a switch there. I gotta be careful with that. GoldenEye pause music vibes. Season 2 of that can't... Yeah, no. Hey, Joe, how's it going, Joe? Nice name, by the way. Yeah, I really can't wait till Severance Season 2 is. It was a great show. I don't know. Apple puts out really good originals. They put out really, really good originals, but that's basically it. They have like 6 or 7 good shows, and then it's not worth the cost monthly other than that. So just pay for it once a year when you need their shows, and then you're good to go. Hello, Joe. Nice name, too. Man, ever since I got this filter down here, I love this thing. I have this big old filter off my side. It just pulls all the smell away from me so I don't suffocate. And I don't even think you guys can hear it because, like, I have a noise gate on my mic, so, like, it's perfect. But those are looking good. Let's just take a look at those. Look at those solder joints. Let's go. Is there a fee when using AliExpress because it's overseas? There's limits. So every country will vary, of course. But there's limits to the amount of merchandise you can import, at least in America, and not get, like, tax issues and stuff. But I haven't had any issues with the orders I place, but I also don't place, like, massive orders. Like, if you're importing, like, 2, 3, 4 grand worth of stuff, you'll probably run into some customs issues that you'll have to deal with. But if you're ordering just a few controllers for, like, 20 bucks, you're probably not going to have an issue. 44 people. Are we going to break 50 tonight? Is this possible? 50 people staring. I have 44 people watching me solder a damn Handwired board right now. That's wild to me. Alright, let me make sure I'm getting these right. I feel like I'm missing one. No, I'm not. I'm good. So you see, once that wire heats up, it just kind of flows where you want it to. It just kind of works. You can just break your solder wherever you need it. Oh, it looks a little cold though. There you go. And only 15 likes. Listen, Zach, the likes are fine. You know, drop the like if you... let me do the YouTuber thing. You know, drop a like, hit the subscribe button. I think probably most people here are my subscribers anyway, but, you know, hit the like button. I always hate doing that YouTuber stuff. I mean, it does work, like the call to action and stuff. It just feels so cheesy. Like, that's why I always put it at the end of my videos, but maybe I'll start putting one at the beginning of them, being like, hey, hit that follow button if you like my stuff, you know? It does work. I mean, a lot of people just forget to subscribe and stuff. Like, it's just kind of how it is. But, let's do this one. That switch is falling out. I gotta fix that. Damn, I really need to get a chisel tip for my iron. Now I'm realizing it's probably better for handwire builds. So I would recommend, if you have I don't know if you have a TS100. This is TS100. This is the KU tip. It's called a KU. That tip is nasty too, but yeah, KU tip. It's wider, and then I have where is it? So the typical tip that I used to use is this one, a D24, which works great. This tip does work great, but you can see I got to make sure I don't burn the hell out of myself right now because it is really hot. But move that so it focuses. Focus. Come on, do it. There it is. So you can see it's a little bit wider, and it kind of just works better, the KU. So I've been pretty happy with them recently. But let me grab this. Do you know of any Handwired keyboards using the Adafruit Itsy Bitsy M0 Express? Not that I know of. The only ones I really ever pay attention to are RP2040. That's like the most common and just Arduino or Pro Micros. Let's fix this wire here. So this connection here is going to be really close, you can see. Kind of don't like how close that is. If this was one of my boards, I'd be fine with that, but since it's a client build, I always make sure that they're a little bit more robust than mine because I can't just pop it open and fix it if something goes wrong. So I make sure that they're pretty solid before I send them out. Let's just fix this one and make it a little bit better. Can I get a shout out? Hey, Austin, how's it going? 48 people. Are we going to break 50 tonight? That's crazy. If we break 50, I'm going to be like, damn, that's wild. 50 people. What are your thoughts on a full custom build like this for something like a Lily 58 with pre-made PCBs as a first? So... Gotta put my thoughts together. Your videos make it look not too challenging. It's not challenging. So this isn't challenging hand wiring stuff. It involves like knowledge of how this stuff works. But for your first build, it might be better to get familiar with soldering on something like a PCB build. Just to get familiar with like how it reacts, what you need to do. Because these builds can be frustrating. If you like, say if you were doing this as your first build, you know, it's going to take you a while and you might not have it work at the end. It might be frustrating. I would recommend on my channel, there's a video, how to handwire a keyboard. You're probably familiar with it. but it's a 9-key macro pad, and it's a really good starting point because it's just 9 keys, so it's pretty easy to get started and learn. But let me make sure this is right. So I'd say if you've never soldered before, probably start with just a simple PCB, just to get a little bit like familiar with how it works, and then you could explore the hand-wired route. Alright, that is much better now. You can see that it's not as close there, which was worrying me. We're at 49 people. We need one more to hit that 50 mark. Come on, let's see if we hit it. 49 people, though, is still crazy. That's still, it's insane to me. 49 people watching me right now. Damn. I really do enjoy these streams, though, because it's like, I don't know. I like talking with my viewers and talking keyboards and stuff, and the comments are one thing. Like, of course, I could talk over comments, but when it's a live, it's really cool. Oh, you see 50 on your screen? I'm looking at, I got OBS showing me. Alright, so I guess I'm live to 50 people right now. Hello, 50 people. Those are looking good. So yeah, let me just show that. So you can see now that I don't want to touch that wire, but there's much better clearance there. Just much better to not short out. And then I will be trimming these bottom ones too. Back to 49. Oh no, we lost one. Shame on you, running away. Listen, if you're aware of my project, you know there's no escaping me in the keyboard world. I post my stuff everywhere. I'm vibing with the song, too. Oh, there, it says 50 people. I see 50 right now. 51. Damn. I don't know. I don't want to toot my own horn right now, but I feel like I'm one of the people that probably started the whole... I mean, I didn't start hand wiring, obviously. It's been a thing, but I feel like I'm one of the people that kind of has pushed it, you know? That's kind of been my whole thing, is pushing, you know, custom keyboards, right? Not like this core, and the core that I use down here is awesome, and it has a new OLED things on it. Those are so cool, but, you know, pre-built boards and stuff like that are cool, but when you build a board like this, you know, you're building the damn board. Like, you are making this yourself fully. So it's just, I think it's just a really rewarding process, and I'd like to see a lot more people get into it, and that's, like, my whole premise of my channel. But, of course, I am trying to branch out a little bit more. You were close to India-ish. Oh, you're responding to someone else. Let's do this one. Now, the one thing with these wires, when they're small like this, so when they're really small like this one, they'll heat up a lot, and they'll start moving around, so you kind of have to be a little bit quick. But you can see, once that wire is hot, you can just bring your solder wherever you need. But there are our columns. There's all our columns wired up. Perfect. And what I like to do at this point is just trim off the excess on the bottom here, just because we don't need it. Just try not to fling them in my eye. Go. Okay. So what we can actually start with, let's start doing our diodes now. I'm glad you did, because DIY kits for ergomechs are expensive. Yeah, PCBs and stuff get expensive. It's just how it is. You know, you got to make profit on them, but this stuff is expensive. It's a keyboard community. If you've been in this like hobby for any amount of time, you know it's not cheap. But let's start with the top here. Actually, no, we need to do diodes. Where are my diodes? We'll grab some diodes. Let's get a whole stack. I got it all tangled. Get 100 rack of them right there. Need about half of that. I watch all the time. I mean, 3D printers are not cheap either. Yeah, I mean, 3D printers aren't cheap, right? But like an Ender, like those back there, you can get a functional printer if you're willing to mess with it. You can get it for, you know, 200, 300 bucks. So it's not terrible. Some schools, they let you print for free. That is true. And also local libraries. A lot of local libraries will have printers you can actually use. I think some of them might charge for material, but that is definitely cheaper than having to deal with having your own printer. And a lot of time, like at schools or libraries, they'll use nicer printers too. They'll have like MakerBots and stuff that just kind of work, so you won't have to deal with any of the like mess and stuff. What is the function of diode here? So this is a matrix with diodes, right? Let me punch out here. So there's a little bit wire. But this is a matrix with diodes, right? We only have so many pins available on our controller. So in order to do that, we need to have a matrix. We can't direct wire. So by using the diodes, it gives you N key rollover, so you can press multiple keys at once. It also allows you to wire it up in a matrix, so you can actually send those over 10 columns in 4 rows instead of, 48 different keys here. So let me punch back in. And every time I do this, my camera jiggles all around. I'm just gonna put it there for now. It's like, what's chat saying? A lot of people in here saying stuff. I'm trying to build and I gotta respond. Got my Ender 3 for 150. Yeah, you can get them used on like Marketplace for like even cheaper. A lot of people on there won't know what actually went wrong with theirs. Fun fact, that printer behind me in the middle, this one right here, I actually found on the side of the road for free. Someone just threw it by the side of the road. It was covered in water. I brought it home and like 10 minutes later I had it working. So someone just threw it away because I'm assuming they just got pissed off at it and were like, this doesn't work, but I got lucky with it. What is the best switch for a hand-wired solder keyboard? Like a hand-soldered keyboard. Lavender purples. I mean, these aren't the best. It's all up to taste and stuff, but lavender purples, I love these. I really like these switches. All right, so let's do our diodes. We need to just start off. Where did I put them? Imagine how many aren't found. Yeah. Filter. I'm hearing my filter in my ears. Do you still have the bad board on the... Yep. That printer right over there. That one right there, if you can see it. Still has a bad board. Still haven't fixed it, and I don't ever plan on it. So I'm just going to leave it there until one day I get the urge to fix it. But let me get some of these. Let me start coiling up these. So this is something that's on my repo. This right here. I call it the Scotto coiler. It's a little tool. You can also get on my website if you want to buy this, but it's a little tool I made to get the diodes perfectly coiled, and I love it. It just makes, I mean, you can just use a piece of wire, right? You could just do that, but if you take this thing, it just makes my life so much easier. You basically bend it down, you grab it, and you just twist. You can see. Look at that. Look at it. Perfect. Perfectly little coiled diode. You pop it off, bam, you have your diode. So I had to do that with, like, I'm going to do the top row. I'm going to do one row at a time on this. Sell me for 60 and a signature. Do you actually want my broken ender? I would consider selling it to you. No, like, no joke. It literally just sits there. Very nice invention. Yeah, I thought it was great. Like, it has these magnets and stuff. So let me actually flex this thing really quick, because it is on the repo if you want to print it yourself, but it's actually in multiple parts, so you can, like, basically hide all the glue, so it, like, comes out really clean. And it is multi-material print, but yeah, it's like a multi-material print, and it kind of hides all the glue, and it just works. I mean, sometimes you'll rip a diode off, and you have to, like sometimes they'll pull out of the hole there, which is a little annoying, but I got the tolerance is pretty good, where you can just kind of grab it, twist it, and it just gives you the perfect little diode. It's a purpose-built tool for hand-wired keyboards. Flex it, please. I got an ad. Diode tool. Thanks for watching my ad, by the way. I appreciate you. But you can see it's a diode tool. It looks good. It's on the repo if you want to print it. But yeah, I can send you more info on this later, Zach, in the Discord. It's just a cool tool. You can do this. This is what we're going to be doing for the foreseeable future right now, is coiling damn diodes. But it does make life easier having this tool around. Yeah, and it, like, magnetically top, I mean, and you can, like, fidget with it, fling it off, but it's fun. It's a cool little tool. It just makes life a little easier with hand-wired boards. That one might pop out. Sometimes they pop out, which is annoying, but there's only so much I can do to get it perfect. Yeah, Zach, it's under the extras folder. So if you go to extras, you'll see Scotto coiler. It used to be tiny. It used to have like a really weird one that kind of worked, but this design just works way better. It was printed in resin before too, and that had all the other issues that come with the resin printing. Let me see if these are, I feel like these might be too long. No, those are about perfect, actually. Yeah, those are about good. I might actually go a little bit tighter on these. I don't like how those are sitting. Generally, what I want with a diode is I want it to sit. So if I show this, I want it to kind of sit below that top there, because this wire is going to sit on there like that. These might actually be okay. These might be fine. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Because you can crack diodes too. They're glass, so they will explode if you put pressure on them, so you have to be kind of careful with that. Is there a benefit with the coil versus my perpendicular soldering? I forget how you wire stuff, right? You wire it. Let me see. Work in progress. Showcase. See if I can find yours. Oh, you don't have any wiring in here. Okay, I can't find it, but I'm assuming you... so basically the reason that I coil these, the reason I do this is that it just sits on there really well. So you can see that it basically perfectly sits on there. Like, it just helps it connect better. I mean, as long as they're soldered for the most part, you're fine, but I just like coiling them, especially on like client builds, especially on commissions. It makes it more secure because I'm not going to be able to, like, you know, if they have an issue with it, fix it. I make sure it's good before it goes out. So doing all these little things, just make sure of that. 53 people. All right. Let's just do this. Go like that. Yeah, I really like how good this tool works. It makes the coiling life so much easier. But this part here is kind of like lubing switches. It's kind of torture. It's just kind of like so much of coiling damn diodes forever. But how many do we need? I want to get the top row. I'm going to do one row at a time. So we have 6 here, 7. We need 12. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That should be enough right there. So we'll do that one first. Looks like it could benefit from a slow motor. This here wouldn't... So I've tried methods of like twisting a thing on top and stuff. Yeah, there's not really a way you can do it. You have to use your hand. You kind of have to use like some actual skill to do it. Like, there is probably a way to make it a lot easier, motorized or something, but this just kind of works, so. I stopped messing with the design at this point. I accepted it works, and we're good to go, you know? Could revise stuff forever. For the most part, they're all the same. The important thing with this is that they mostly are all the same exact size, the same exact coils. Everything lines up good. I just use a needle and a block of wood. Yeah, I used to just use literally a piece of wire, hold it in my hand, so similar. But this is more comfortable. Alright, we should have 12 of these now. We can grab my smaller clippers. And what I like to do is grab this. It doesn't stick to my monitor. Grab a magnet, and you can see it has a bunch of those on it. And it just makes like life easier to not have little tiny sharp-ass things that you're going to step on and stab in your foot, because I have done that before with diodes, and it is not pleasant. So just clip those off, and then they magnetize right on there, which is great. Yeah, like if you have a diode on the floor and that just goes right in your foot, it's like a little needle. Really sucks. Painful. So painful. They'll draw blood too, these things. Add in a motor, and next people ask for a design that you just feed in the strip of diodes and then it does it all. That would be great if I could just figure out a way to do that, where I could just have 100 diodes coiled for me. The 108s, when I did the Scotto 108s, those were a pain in the ass to do the diodes. It was literally like 30 or 40 minutes sitting there coiling diodes. And like, I had to do it twice because I made one for my mom and one for my dad. I don't know if they're watching me. If you're watching me, text me right now, Mom, Dad. I don't know if they're watching. They sometimes watch my streams. But, yeah, shout out my parents right there for making me sit here for over an hour and a half to coil diodes for their Christmas gifts. Hey everyone, thanks Scotto for these live sessions. You're welcome. I pulled the trigger on a Lily 58 wireless. Yeah, I like the Lily 58. It's not bad. Did you go with the Type Reactive one for my video? Hi Mom, someone says hi Mom. Hi, Mom. Everyone's saying hi to my parents right now if they're watching. I don't know if they're watching. I don't know. Did they text me? They didn't text me. I don't know if they're watching. I think they're watching a movie maybe, but... Oh my god. My fear when I'm clipping these two is that I'm gonna clip one day and it's just gonna fling right towards my eye. So I'm always, I mean, I got the safety glasses on, right? But it doesn't protect it going around the edge. And that would suck. If you got that in your eye, that would suck so bad. Painful. Dr. G, you're watching a movie right now while you watch my stream? Or are you counting the stream as a movie? Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Scotto. I posted a picture of the last showcase of my wiring. Let me take a look at that, Zach. I don't see it. I don't see it. Just tag me, at me, just at me. The stream is the movie. Anyone had popcorn? I wish I had popcorn actually right now. If any of you have popcorn right now, I'm jealous. Actually, I wish I had kettle corn. I had kettle corn last night. Stuff is so good. Except when it gets like stuck in your gums, then it's just hell. Then popcorn's just a low S or D tier food, you know? But if you don't get it stuck in your teeth and like your gums, it's like an A tier at least. We need this on the theaters. Handwiring live now in theaters. Clip. There we go. Alright, so we should have 12 of these now. Can put these over here. And look at this. I actually want to show this because this thing is cool as hell too. I did a bunch of stuff for like my setup. It's a plier stand that I 3D printed. This is a design online. Like I didn't design this, but it works so good. I just stick all my pliers in there and then I can put them off to the side and like it's just great. So I can have my stuff organized. But let's grab this. Let's grab our diodes. And I always do kind of pay attention to the orientation of these. Let me zoom you guys in. I have to do this without looking. There we go. Okay. That will shake for a few moments. Just accept it for now. But what I like to do is kind of put them like that. And you can see how they sit. And then we'll wrap the wire up top. And I am starting with the top row because that's always the first one I start with. It's the easiest to do because you don't need to insulate anything. And then also these do have a way like that. So you can see that they have the wire going to the bottom there. I don't put them, so if my thumb's the switch, I don't put them like that. I put that facing the switch just to kind of put it a little bit better. Makes it align better. Sometimes these diodes are hard to grab too because they're so small. Did I do enough of them too? I think I did, right? There's 3. So yeah, I think I got exactly enough at the top. Can't really see. Let me make sure you can see what I'm doing here. I'm like so zoomed in, I have to make sure that you can see it. Right there at those. Now we can just begin soldering them on. Same thing, just still at 350 for this. Start at this end. I'll show you once I get these all on why I coil them, because you can really kind of see. You can also reposition them too, so if you grab them, get them to sit exactly where you want them to. That's always great. So I like to push them below that little bump there. Just kind of makes them sit a little better. I think his stream time's working better than usual too. 8 p.m. feels a little better than starting at 10 p.m. Just feels a little bit better. I'm seeing a lot of new people in here too that weren't on the last few, which is nice. I've been thinking about designing a board with a joystick for mouse control, but I just made another board. I'm not putting any more effort. That's not really a struggle I have. Well, the struggle I have with boards is that I'll put high effort on one, and then I'll start another design and put high effort on that one, and then I just start getting a backlog. I literally have like 3 boards behind me that I haven't even showed you guys yet. You've probably actually seen them, but I always have stuff like in the works that I'm kind of cooking up. So I'm always kind of too much effort on these. Just I'll get too many builds going, and I'll just never finish them, which I need to get better at doing. Ooh, that one went all the way over there. So you can see once they go like wonky like that, you can just grab them and reposition them. Hi from Australia. I've been watching your videos for a while. First time popping by stream. Hi, Mike. How's it going? I have a lot of people in Australia that watch my stuff. I always find that crazy that I have like a bunch of fans in Australia. Let them cook. Cooking all right now. It is 3 here. Could not sleep, so watching your stream. This is very early morning for you. Or for me. Yes, I'm reading a comment right now. I'm not saying, you know what I mean. You get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Sweden here? Oh, Sweden. Cool. Find it crazy that I have people all over the world that watch my crazy videos about hand-wired keyboards. I don't know, I really like the keyboard community though. Like, it's been one of the more welcoming hobbies I've been in. Definitely is. Like, everyone just kind of is nice here. There's other hobbies you can be in where people are just assholes. But when you get bored, I have at you. Yeah, I see it, Zach. I'm going to finish this up, and I was going to actually show that because I wanted to see your wiring and mention on it. Same here. I ended up setting an alarm after all. Oh, yeah, Dr. G, you always set an alarm. What time is it for you right now? It's probably like 3 a.m. for you right now, I think, right? Alright, so now you can kind of see with doing it the way I do with the coiling, how they just kind of really sit on there nice. So what Zach is saying, let me make sure I don't burn the hell out of myself here, because that would suck. Let me see what we got here. Open in browser. So yeah, I mean, Zach, this method where you just go straight, that's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. It's just that this way with the coiling, I just feel it's more secure. So especially on like a commission build, this is just much better, I think. But either way's fine. Like, especially if it's your own board and it breaks or something, you can easily fix it. But one of the hobbies that seems to freely share information the most. Yeah, that's kind of true with any like open source stuff or any like coding stuff. Just kind of how it is. 2 a.m. in the UK, I'm wide awake watching again, working 6 hours. That's gonna be a caffeine morning for sure, right? Definitely a caffeine morning. Alright, so yeah. So you can see that by doing this top one, by doing the top row first, don't have to use any insulation there. I can just grab this and wrap these on. And I like to go under like this. So you can see we can like really wrap those. You see, wrap it around. It's just a pain to do it for all of them, but like I said, commission build, I always make sure they're a little bit more robust than my own builds. Because I won't be able to fix this later on. I'll have to send it back to get it fixed, and I like to avoid that. Kind of get those ends on first. Let me zoom out for this, because that might be a little bit easier. Let's punch there, be able to see a little better. I gotta find a way if I can get like a remote for my camera. It would make my life easier. Let's have some tea. That's completely cold now. We've been going for an hour or so, but this is blueberry tea, believe it or not. Blueberry tea. It's like a pinkish color. I guess blueberries are kind of like a pinkish color anyway, but it is really good. And then I have another drink here that's kind of weird. Red, white, and blue, like water. It's like ice pop, red, white, and blue flavored water, and it tastes like identical to it. Kind of crazy. Let me grab a tweezer. I had a different tweezer. I want to grab a good tweezer then. Oh, no more apple. I have a bunch of the apple ones upstairs, but I'm trying to branch out to different flavors. All right, Zach. Trying to expand my horizons of flavors. Hey, Evan, how's it going? Joe, been meaning to ask, how come you use thick solid copper beam instead of flexible thin gauge enameled copper wire? So I don't use enameled wire because you have to scrape the crap off it, right? You have to scrape the stuff off of it. And also by using the sticker wire, it actually makes the board heavier and more rigid. So it fits a little bit better. Or it just feels a little bit better overall. So it kind of holds everything together. Enamel wire is fine. Like, that's one of the common ways people have done this for like years. And you wouldn't have to do this thing with the heat shrink either. But just the thicker copper wire works better, in my opinion. I just like it better. Build a mechanical remote, the Scotto cam. Yeah, it wouldn't work though, because Sony's like proprietary shit. So I have my Sony camera above me. But it's all proprietary, so we wouldn't really have a way to do that. Molten solder melts the enamel. Get straight to the copper by soldering. Good point. Does it? I've never used it, so I wouldn't actually know that it did that way. I've always heard that you had to scrape it off. I might have to try that, because that might make my life like easier to do. Just using copper wire. Or enamel wire. It's good to see you here though, Evan. Joining the stream. How about mango tea? Well, mango tea. Here, let me show. How fitting. Mango tea is asking about mango tea. I could go for some mango tea, but I just got blueberry right now. Sony is like Japanese Apple, ain't it? No. Sony, I think, kills the game with their cameras. The camera wars is a thing, too. Like, that's a thing just like the Apple wars and all that stuff. But I love Sony cameras. I've used them for the past, like, 7-8 years. And they kind of kill the game in terms of cameras and like image quality features. Their glass, like the lens I have on this thing right now, the best lens I've ever owned. It's a 35-1.4. I love it, and it works so good for this too, because like I can get close, and that's not common in lenses all the time, that you can get close, right? Like that's typically a macro feature, but this lens does it, and it works great. That still highlighted. Can I unhighlight? There we go. I've tried different types of enamel wire. Some I need to lightly scrape with a soldering iron, while some enamel burns off with a touch. Yeah, I gotta try it eventually. Holidays over the next week, then start our project. Evan, I am excited to see how that works out for you. And this board might actually be good. I don't know if you've seen this board either. Let me show you. So this board is the ScottoAlp. It's this board with the ALP switches, except bigger. It's just bigger than this. It has an extra column. Did you experiment much more with printed keycaps? So, since you're just joining now, these are printed. The client for this build wanted printed keycaps, so these are all little dots, and they're printed, and they're gonna fit great. So they're fully done. If you look on the repo, you can find all the keycaps on there. So you'll be able to download them. There's all the legends on there, and different shapes and stuff, modifiers, different sizes, blanks. Pretty much anything you could need is on the repo right now, and you can just print them. And they're all in bamboo format too, so, well, 3MF, but, you know, that works in bamboo. Just out of curiosity, what's a commission like this cost if you don't mind sharing? This one here is $300. I'm charging, I believe, $300 for this. So some of that's the R&D. So I always get, like, kind of iffy. I like being transparent with what I charge for stuff as much as I can, right? This here is $300 because obviously it's going to be, like, probably a 3 or 4 hour build, right? And the R&D stuff that goes into it. And then I also factor in parts and stuff, but they're not terrible. I mean, expensive for a board, but it is hand-built, so. Speaking of tea, I made a homemade chai a couple months ago. I like chai tea. I don't like caffeine, though, so I don't really mess with too much caffeinated stuff anymore. Every few months I stop caffeine, and I'm currently in my 3rd month of no caffeine. I feel like I'm more calm without caffeine, so. Wait, those are 3D printed? They look so clean. Yeah, these were 3D printed. The only thing I mentioned on these is that it seems a little weird at first, so you can definitely see the layers in certain light. I mean, that's how prints work, but you don't really feel it when you, like, type on it. You can kind of feel it, but it's not jarring like my old textured keycaps, because I used to do textured keycaps, and those you could really feel. These ones you can't. These ones are definitely, like, a lot better. We'll get that on there, and then we will position this the way I need it. Tea has caffeine, though. Yeah, so regular tea does, not blueberry tea like this has no caffeine. This is a caffeine-free herbal tea. Remember the VGA cable cord keyboard you made? Could I change the cable to something like 12 enamel wire plus paracord sleeve? Yes, you could. You could change it to that. It just might look weird, depending on how nice you make the cable. But the only reason I went with VGA on that is because I had enough, obviously, I had enough cables to pass the matrix across. But, yeah. Do the print settings where you said the models were? There's no print settings. It's going to really depend on your printer, of course. But I recommend 0.12 layer height. Start there and then kind of work your way. It doesn't require support, though, because of how they print. So, I'm going to clip this. Where'd my clipper go? There it is. Let's kind of pull this down. So now I do recommend if you have something hanging off like that while you're doing a solder or something when you're soldering this, always clip that off because that's just extra material to have to heat up and you don't want that. But we can clip that off. And then I will also clip it here. Close my eyes to just protect from stabbing myself. Yeah, herbal tea is not actually tea. Do we have the tea connoisseurs in here, alright? Are you judging my wording of tea, alright? Blueberry hot drink, that's what we'll call it. We'll call it blueberry hot drink. Will that make the tea connoisseurs happy? Alright, let's grab some solder. Fruit brew. I fixed my hot end issue today. The nozzle was super clogged and was burnt into the silicone. Yeah, that happens. That will happen for sure. Alright, let's start in this middle here. Tea is a plant after all. I was recently looking into getting like loose leaf tea, getting into that, some fancier stuff. I went through the coffee phase a few years ago, like really high quality espresso. I was considering maybe tea this time around for my fancy drink of choice. But tea bags are just convenient. Grab some hot water, just chuck a tea bag in there, you're good to go. Did you make that stabilizer wire with copper wire? Yes, I did. It's just a piece of 14 gauge copper, bent and balanced and wholly modded. You can kind of really see there. If I punch you guys in again. Get ready for the camera shake. Sorry, deal with the wobble. You can see, I always love to show this because it's like, I think this may be a clicking moment for a lot of people, like that haven't soldered, is that solder will flow towards heat. So if I put heat into the wire here, right? I bring some solder in. You kind of see that now I can pull it where I want. It just kind of goes where the heat is. So that's the core concept when it comes to soldering that you need to know. Once you know that, it makes life so much easier. Like, I'm not using flux here other than what's in the rosin core on the solder, but, you know, I'm not using additional flux. I'm just pulling the solder right where it needs to go, and it's just going where I need it. And the thing I have to make sure I don't do here is miss any connections, but since this is, I mentioned a few times, this is a commission build, right? So I make sure everything's a little more robust. By having the wire wrapped around that copper anyway, it actually makes it have a connection by default, so it should be connected even without, like, soldering. Like, there's a much less chance of it not being connected. So the solder just ensures that it's always connected, obviously. But yeah, I don't know if we are going to finish this today. We're already like almost an hour and 15 in. I'm going to try to get as far as I can, but I might do another stream tomorrow. I do have to do videos too. I have some videos that I have to get to, specifically on the Daring Run build, because I owe them a video, because part of the deal with them. But so I do have to get that one done, but I will be live streaming again if I don't finish it today. But there's all those. Looks about right. There's my solder joints, you can see. Then we just clip these off. Let me grab my small clippers. How do you find that soldering iron? What do you use to power? They run off a USB-C power bank. So this here, I showed it earlier. It's a 3D printed stand. I found the file online. It's powered off this LiPo on the bottom. That's a big old 6S LiPo. And I have the TS100, so it's just a barrel plug. But the newer ones, the TS101s that I recommend now on like all my links and stuff, it's the same iron. It's just a newer version. You can't get the 100 anymore, but it's just the same one. I love it though. It's the greatest iron I've ever used. It's efficient. I basically get like probably 4 or 5 boards out of a single pack. So it's pretty good. I enjoy it. Do you straighten the copper wire yourself, or is that like when you buy it? I straighten this myself. I also sell it straight on my website if you want to buy it from me. I sell it in like 8-inch lengths. Basically, all you do to do that is you take a drill and you just hold it with a plier on one end or like a vise and then put in the drill and just spin it. It will get hot when you do that, though, and it will also get like more stiff, which is a good thing. But yeah, you basically just spin it in a drill and then you have some straightened copper wire. Clip these off. Let me grab my magnet. These ends. Work hardened. I think that's not annealing, right? Annealing's when you make metal soft. So yeah, it's work hardened, yeah, when you do that. Because technically the wire that I use, I don't know if this one is. This is the wire here. It's jewelry wire technically. It's called dead soft, so it's like really flexible. But there's like different ratings of softness you can get on wire, and I typically work with the dead soft stuff. But that looks about right. That looks good. There's our first row. Do I have all my diodes correct, though? Let me make sure. Yeah, we are good. So now we can get to the part where we actually have to start using heat shrink. Let me clean up a little bit more, though, because I'm a little messy here. Like I said, I want to be a little bit cleaner in my builds. Just makes life easier. At least after I'm done recording, I don't have to clean up a massive mess if I clean while I do it. What is that? Oh, it's a piece of Band-Aid. All right, let's grab some diodes. Micro off. I don't have a garbage can, so I'm just going to put that on the floor and I will sweep that up later. Good enough. Alright, let's grab some more diodes and begin coiling these. I was wondering if the switches themselves has a front orientation that I should set them up before attaching diodes and such, or is fine as long as all the switches are oriented the same way. The switches can be oriented really in any way. It doesn't actually matter, because all a switch is, it's literally just 2 pins, and when they connect, it creates a connection. That's it. So it could be left, right, up, down. It doesn't matter. There is some issues that some people say with the positioning of where the hole is on top. So that's for like the LED, if you had LEDs. It can cause interference with cherry keycaps, is what some people say, but I don't use them. This build is using custom keycaps too, so it's possible it could have interference issues, but I always just mount them that way. That's how I've always done them, and that's what I typically do. And having them on the bottom is kind of just better positioning because you don't have to do the insulation on the top rows. So I need to coil these. What am I doing? Let's grab 12 of these. So we have 5 here. We have another 6 here. So what's that? That's 9. Wait, no. 6 plus 5, that's 11. We need 1 more. Did I math right? Did I math right? Was that right, math? 5, 10, 12. Yes, I mathed correctly. Let's go. Math is hard. Yeah, some more blueberry drink. Alright, so let's grab my diode coiling tool. And now we get to the boring part of coiling damn diodes again. Let's go. Talk to me during this process. This is the most boring thing in the world. Coiling diodes. I do like building these though on stream though, because like I said, I can talk to you guys while I do this, and it makes it less mundane having to coil a bunch of damn diodes. But also, I mean, that's kind of the fun with these builds from time to time too, is like you just kind of get into a groove, you put some music on, and you just build something, you know? Coil. The good old exclamation point 1. I watch anime when I do this part. The only anime I watch is Arcane. That's the only one. I don't know if does that even count as an anime, but God, that show is good. But I feel like if I start watching League again, I'm gonna get into the League struggle of playing League of Legends again, and that is not good. Not an anime. Yeah, I don't know. It's animated show, cartoon, maybe. Cartoon, but Arcane was great, though. I don't know. It's League of Legends. That's the problem. Any suggestions for soldering the rows, diodes to copper wire on a staggered keyboard like a corn layout where the rows aren't straight? Let me coil this one really quick, and I will pull up. Let's talk about that. Let's pull up. Oh, no, don't. I stuff on my keyboard. God. Okay. pull this up here. Let's search up the Scotto fly. So this one here, you can see how I did this if I pull this up. So I bend them, and then I do, instead of insulating the rows, so instead of insulating the rows like this one, where I'm doing these ones insulated, I actually insulate the columns instead. So I do it in reverse order, basically. So it just makes it easier than having to get copper on those. I'm usually watching esports matches during this. What esport? The only esports that I really ever followed were League. That was basically it. But I know there's like a lot more in esports now. Put this off so it doesn't focus on that. I've always wanted to wire wrap a board, but I can't even imagine how I'd lay that out. Wire wrapping predates me, but it's super nice. Wire wrapping? What do you mean by that? Wire wrap a board. Well, the word anime literally means animation, so it technically isn't anime, it's just not from Japan. Yeah, I guess it's not a Japanese anime. And I think that's probably what most people think of when they say anime, though, is like Japanese anime. Not so much like... I think it was actually a French studio that did Arcane. I know it was like 2 or 3 years in the making, and the next season's like a couple years out, too. I think 2025. Usually just watching Valorant because Champions was... Yeah, I played Valorant a little bit. I tried to, at least. Only games I really play are Apex, Fortnite, and then like 2 months out of every year Minecraft for like, or 2 weeks out of every year Minecraft. Nice, just finished a Scotto Night, the first Prodigy, and stepping up to a bigger project now. Which one are you doing next, Simon? Microsoft Excel is an esport now. I saw a video recently on Excel. There's a Japanese guy, I think he was Japanese, that paints with Excel. Like, he didn't want to pay for Photoshop, so he learned how to paint in Excel with like the columns and stuff. And he does like some wild stuff with it, which is like, I don't know how people can do that with Excel. Like, come on, that's insane. And the more I use my diode coiler, the more I like it. It just makes my life so much easier coiling these. Simon, I have printed off a corn case, so we'll try hand wiring that. Yeah, that's not a bad place to start. The controller will probably be a little bit hard with it, depending on like what case you used. But hand wiring feels more fun than ordering PCBs. Exactly. That is exactly the goal of my entire channel, is for you to hand wire stuff and realize that you don't need to just buy PCBs. You can make basically anything you want. Like, literally anything you want with a keyboard you can make with hand wiring. Is that coiler printed? I need a bunch of them. So yeah, Evan, this is... So I sent you the V1s of this. The V1s were kind of not as good. This is the V4 or 2 or something. It's on my website if you wanted to buy them, but it's also on the repo, and you have bamboo, so just go on the repo, and under the extras folder, there's... I'll just show you. Here, what am I saying? I can just show you. I keep forgetting that I have a computer here. So we go to Scotto Cubes. We will go to the GitHub. We will go to extras. We have a bunch of extras in here, but we have the Scotto Lube. This is a new lube station I made too, that if you want to do those. But I have the Scotto Coiler, and there's a bunch of files in here. But basically, see, this is the original. This is the original one here. But yeah, you can download this. You can print it off in some multicolor if you want, and it will work great. You see some 16 gauge copper. Instead, we have powwow and cupcake. You could design your own PCB. Yeah, so that's the other rabbit hole with this too, is that designing, so I've obviously designed one PCB. I've done the Scotto 34. I still don't enjoy it as much as hand wiring. Like, even though I designed the whole thing, right? I designed the case, I designed the PCB, I got it all manufactured, I built it myself. It still just doesn't feel the same. Like, hand wiring, something about it is you literally built the board. It is all you. If you mess it up, it's on you, right? So, like, it just doesn't feel the same with PCBs. But the concepts are the same. Like, once you know how to hand wire stuff, you're good to go. You know, you could do a PCB once you understand the tool. And I might actually start doing some streams on PCB stuff too, because I want to do more PCBs. It's just that, like I've said many times, like, I get sidetracked on projects, right? I have all these goals and stuff I want to do, but I'll get sidetracked on one project, dive into that one heavy, and then go to a different one. And It's also hard to gauge what exactly my viewers want, right? Like, what they want more than anything. I think it's mostly handwire stuff, so... Nice, I'll start a print now. Yeah, let me know how it works out. You'll see with the design, too, Evan. It's pretty cool because it's 3 different parts. I recommend, print this face down, so print that face down, print that face down on that part, and then that face. You'll probably see when you start doing it. It doesn't need any supports, but it's designed in a way that hides all the glue. So when you glue the parts in it, so when you glue the copper in there, it actually hides in this layer, so you don't have like a messy looking thing. So it keeps it really clean. I'm designing a custom hitbox style gamepad with PCBs right now, but the shipping between iteration kind of sucks. Exactly, that is the part with PCBs that really does suck. If you mess up a one iteration, it's expensive. You know, you're paying for PCBs, and shipping is a nightmare on PCBs because they're heavy. They are pretty heavy, but it can get so expensive to iterate through PCBs. That's another reason why, like, probably hand wiring stuff first is better, especially if you're going to do a PCB. You can hand wire it first and then get an idea. That's the point of DIY. It's not about convenience. It's about the satisfaction of being able to say, I made that. Yeah, that's literally the point of it for me, is like, every board I make is like, I made this fully. You know, I designed it, I built it, I soldered it. The diode stage. So fun. That's sarcasm if it wasn't obvious enough. Oh my god, these tedious things. This is like lubing switches, but less painful, I guess, than lubing switches. Less painful, but still. A little bit painful nonetheless. There should be more accessible tech for etching PCBs at home. There is, actually. There is. Let's look it up. Am I just sitting on my screen this whole time? Was I on my screen this whole time? Was I showing you the soldering? Alright, well, let's actually show this. Hey, Joe, good night. Hey, how's it going? I don't know how to say your first name, but I recognize you from Instagram. We talk on there sometimes. Let's see. Yes, the voltage. You were showing the camera. Okay, I thought I was just sitting on my screen, just like... But this is the problem. This right here... $5,200 to etch PCBs at home with this thing. Yeah, I thought about trying to reach out to them, but I don't think they'd send a $5,200 machine to a 10,000 follower YouTube channel. But, I mean, that would be pretty good if I could get, I think it was a Nova. I mean, they do like PCBs, but like, it's like John. Basically uses solder paste. Yeah, it uses like solder paste, and I think it has a pick and place. Is this the exact one, though? There was a different one, I think. That's a lot of PC boards before spending that much. Yeah, like, before you hit $5,200, I mean, you could get so many PCBs, but yeah, one day we'll get accessible PCBs. But another thing, too, is you can do PCBs at home, right? Like, you can do them. It's just that the chemicals you have to use are, like, nasty shit. Like, really nasty. And I don't want to mess with that. I think there's some acid. Like, there's acid etching with them, and it's just nasty. It's not the type of stuff I'd want to mess with, right? This song's a little bit intense. I mean, I'm enjoying it, but it's a little intense. I might still know a guy at the office. They offered to hook me up with one at like 50%. Wait, you hook up with one of these for 50% off? I mean, really? Oh my god, a home machine with solder paste, pick and place, and hot plate is a dream. Yeah, yeah. I want to do... So I've seen videos of it, like the solder paste. So like on JLC or any PCB manufacturer, you can actually order a paste mask, like a mask layer, so you can do solder paste. And like they basically toss it in an oven, and then you just see all the components like just suck to the board, and it's so nice. But I don't know for sure if that connection still exists. That'd be, I mean, if you could get one of those cheap, that'd be pretty dope. Like, you'd have to like share your experience with it if you did, 'cause that would be cool. Lenny, you're the one that actually... I think you're the one that made me do the... I'm recognizing your name now, or your picture. You're the one that had me do the Nice Nano. We did the work on the Nice Nano sketch, right? Was that you? I'm pretty sure that was you, right? Huh, cool. I recognize people based on their profile pictures. That's nice. We etch PCBs using a 1K bubble etching tank and use Cricut vinyl cutter to cut stickers that act as resist for the tank. The acid is sodium phosphorate, same as hair bleach, safe to use. I mean, interesting. I would actually be... Message me about that later. Maybe video idea. Maybe. What is a 1K bubble etching tank? What is an etching tank? Bubble etching tank. Is it kind of like a ultrasonic where it like bubbles the stuff off or just keeps it moving? So I think it would be like, oh, 479. Oh yeah, there we go. Get some ferric chloride. What the hell is this stuff? Am I even allowed to show this on YouTube? Some serious ass chemicals. I don't know how serious it is. I don't know shit about chemistry, but still. I don't know, chemicals just kind of freak me out, but let's get these diodes on here. Glad my terrible SketchUp stills nudge you. Yeah, I don't think it's a full nice nano too, but it's missing 3 of the pins is what I ended up doing, but it at least gives you an idea, like, design-wise, because it is the proper dimensions there. So that was really helpful with you sending those over. You're able to get that on there, which is great. Same reason I don't do resin printing. To my right is my massive resin. It's literally a grow tent is what I store my resin printers in. But I avoid those resin printers a lot too because they're torture. You know, they smell. There's a cleanup process. They are dangerous and it's just annoying. So I mean, resin printing will produce some incredible results, right? But like the process, it's just so much. Heats water and uses bubble. Works all right. You'll never get manufactured quality like yeah. That is the thing I've found too, is like homemade PCBs will never hit JLC. I mean, the way JLC works anyway, from what I've seen, is the way they're able to get their prices cheap is they produce so many at once. They basically make a whole panel of PCBs and just mass produce them. I do not want to burn myself. Where'd my tweezer go? Here's my tweezer. Let's move this one over. So, I mean, resin is great, but, like, it's just the cleanup process is a pain in the ass. That's all. You spend so long cleaning stuff up, and you have to wear, like, I wear respirator, nitrile gloves. The stuff is literally toxic. Like, if you keep it on your hands, you will form an allergic reaction, even if the first time you don't. Eventually, context sensitizer is what's called. So, eventually, you will form a reaction to it. So, it's just not very safe stuff. I mean, you can be safe using it. It doesn't mean that it is safe, right? Have you seen the Ocrib, a modular macro keyboard? Ocrib. Ocrib. Is this it? Yes, this video is like going around on YouTube like massively, right? I haven't seen it, but it's very clean and it has knobs. Knobs are always good. I have a friend that resin prints, so if I ever want anything, I can hit him up. Yeah. If you have a friend that does it, go to them. Don't necessarily jump into it yourself if you don't have to. If you only need a resin print once in a while, just pay someone to do it. I mean, having the resin printers allows me to make some really cool stuff, but it is just annoying. It's just a pain to have to deal with resin. I'm sure you can see this. Alright, so now we have to insulate these. Wasn't fully solidified. There we go. Alright, I need this. So this is heat shrink tubing with glue in it. And then we need a wire. So put that there. Alright, let's mark our intersections with a paint marker. Okay. So now with these, you don't need to do the last one either, because there's no reason to. So you kind of start it there, grab it. I like doing these like 4 at a time now. This is what I kind of started doing recently. Just makes it a little bit easier. This song's not bad. For being royalty-free stuff. I mean, jazz is a lot of smaller bands anyway, so. Gotta do this quick so I don't burn myself. Okay, get that. Make sure they align. Perfect. It's very hot. It's very hot. So this top-down camera is with 35 prime lens, right? How the heck are you moving it back and forth, zoom in and out? So, I always like flexing my camera. Let's flex my camera. I love this thing. No, this way. So that is an A7 IV with a 35 GM. I have on it, you can see in the top right. So we have, this is full frame right now, right? So this is full frame. Then we have APS-C crop, so then it's only using a smaller portion of the sensor. And then we have what's called clear image zoom on the Sonys, which is a digital zoom, but it doesn't lose resolution. So it doesn't lose resolution because it is only cropping it on the sensor, and it's like a higher megapixel sensor. So I love this camera. Works so good. I've always loved Sony, but this camera in particular is great. The A7 IV is like literally all the camera that I think 99% of people would ever even need. It's 32 megapixels. It shoots 4K and 10-bit. It's great. All right, so we have those. Are you using a boom mic to hold it up? I'm using what's called a C-stand. So this here. No, other way. It's backwards on here. So this big stand here is called a C-stand. It's super big and heavy. Then I have lights there. My mic's on a boom right there. So it's a setup. So, all right. I need to insulate these. Sick. Yeah. I have a very solid setup in my basement now for my like quote unquote work setup, right? My YouTube stuff. Like I like my desk or my room setup, but having a dedicated place in my basement that I can just come and make a video when I need to is really nice. I don't have to set shit up when I want to make a video. I just come down here and start filming. My only fear with it is that there are water. This is one of my irrational fears is that, you know, it's in a basement, so above me I have a bunch of water lines. If those ever broke, that would suck. I mean, I have insurance on all my stuff, but like, that would just suck if I had to replace everything from like water damage. Not super likely, but you know, never know. Amp DAC in bass. Hey, Sam. What's up, dude? Sam's my IRL buddy. We talk audio stuff. So right now, Sam, what I'm using is I'm actually just using my recorder. It's a Zoom F6. It has a pretty shitty IEM output. It has a lot of noise. It doesn't have a very low noise floor, but it sounds fine. I use a micro with printed fitting to hold my cam over my workspace. Oh, well, yeah, so the problem with my Sony is that I wish I could use, like, printed stuff and set it up, because I wanted to, like, get another setup in my room. But the Sony weighs, like, 3.5 pounds or 2 pounds or something with the lens and stuff on it. It's just too heavy to do that. It just wouldn't work. So I have to use these big-ass metal stands and stuff. I'm in a basement, too, and there's a bathtub above me. It's been fine for decades, but I still worry sometimes. Yeah, you never know, you know? As long as you don't have any Breaking Bad stuff going on in the bathtub, though, you should probably be fine, you know? Should probably be fine. Oh, man, Breaking Bad. I just made a Breaking Bad reference. Let's pull these through. Nice. So, yeah, you can see that heat shrink. So the cool thing with this heat shrink too is that it has glue in it, right? So this is glued heat shrink. It's called marine heat shrink. It has the glue to seal it. But also, if you don't seal it enough with a lighter, as you heat it up with the iron, it will actually shrink down even more. So it's like even better. But we will just begin wrapping these. And like this part here takes so long because you have to individually wrap each one underneath. Normally I would just bend them under, but like I mentioned, this is a commission build, so I want to make sure it's solid. Just want to make sure it's really solid. So technically, I probably don't even have to do this much. Like, just wrapping it once would be more than enough. It's like 180 degrees around it, so it's on there enough. But just by making sure it's fully on there ensures that they're not going to have a problem with it. You do want to make sure whenever you're doing this that you have proper insulation there, that they're covering fully and not like only half on there. Can't believe I've been pulling 43 to 50 people for the past like 2 hours. I mean, that's crazy. It's just frozen cold now. Like, it's completely frozen. I think it's time to switch to the red, white, and blue pop. The red, white, and blue pop. You know, hashtag not sponsored by Walmart. Make sure this doesn't explode. These, if you've ever had one of these Celsius from Walmart, these things, they pressurize so much that they will literally explode no matter what when you open them. So I always have to make sure that they don't explode. Very bubbly. But this literally tastes like an ice pop. It's amazing. I don't know how they bottled the essence of ice pop. Pretty good. All right. So, keep wiring. Number 1. Solo player ID hit me with the number 1 finger. Thank you. This has lyrics all of a sudden? What the hell? All right. Is that French? No, that's Spanish, right? Is that French or Spanish? I think that's French. Yeah, that's gotta be French. This happens every single stream. This happens. Something with language. Or like someone tries to get me to say a different name or a name in a different language or something. I can't. Maybe it's Portuguese. It might be Portuguese. Spanish? I mean, I'm vibing with it. It's not bad. Alright, there are those. What weight do you prefer for a switch? You see, that's a heavy question because I don't really have a preference, if I'm being honest. This one is too tight on there. I need to fix this. Let me fix this and then I can respond. It's really on there. Let me see if I can get this up. I have to heat that up to get that switch in, to release some pressure. So for switches, for the most part, right around like 60 to 70 is where I find comfortable. Sometimes I go like way higher. I have done like 80 or 90 grams, but those can kind of be taxing to use. Come on, heat it up. Come on, you can do it. Click in now. There we go. Yeah, that switch was kind of popping out, and I didn't like that. And we got another one here. Looks like I'm really pushing these with this wire here. Let me fix this. Burn myself. Using the 62 gram silent inks right now, and they're heavy as fuck. Oh yeah, wait, here's Sam. I feel these 60s are taxing. Silent inks. I don't know, 60 grams not too heavy. Let's fix that switch also. So yeah, all I did there is I had some switches that weren't seating fully, so I wanted to just push them through and just make sure they were on there. This one also, it's just pushing a lot of pressure from this wire, so to kind of get those through. Okay, get that, fix that. The song is in Portuguese, I confirm. I thought so. Is Portuguese, that's the language of Brazil, right? Or is it Brazilian in Brazil? Or is it Portuguese? Sure, those are all good. It's better when you can understand. I don't know, I'll listen to foreign songs. Some Culture Wall, it's so chill. I wish I could, Sam. I wish. YouTube will copyright strike me. And, you know, I don't risk that. Unfortunately. I mean, I could technically play copyright music on these streams, just when it goes to upload afterwards, I wouldn't be able to keep the music on them, so just be muted the whole time. Like, Twitch would allow me to strip out the music. They have a way you can send multiple tracks, but YouTube doesn't allow you to do that, so you're kind of out of luck there. Is anyone feeling EDM right now? Are you fine with the jazz? I'm kind of feeling maybe putting on some like EDM. Maybe. But if chat doesn't want it, I'm not gonna do it because EDM is, you know, EDM. Be a little bit more extreme. I mean, not necessarily extreme, but you know what I mean. Might just stick with the jazz. EDM. I like the jazz. I like the jazz. I'm probably gonna stick with the jazz. Put on hard step. Yeah, let's put on some hard bass real quick. Pull this one over a little bit more too. I don't want to touch it. I almost touched that wire and almost killed my hand there. I've done that a few times. I typically do it when I'm streaming because I'm not as... I mean, not that I'm not focused, but I'm like, you know, I'm focusing on chat and stuff and I'll grab something where I'm not supposed to. I did that last stream actually when I was building the cyber deck, or the... not the cyber deck, the Scotto deck. And I burnt my finger on my iron, like, right towards the beginning, too. Where do you play these playlists? So chill. Epidemic Sound on Spotify. It's literally just the Epidemic Sound jazz playlist. It's all... I pay for a subscription so I can use them on YouTube and not get struck down. But it is... I mean, I'm actually pretty impressed with their jazz selection for being all, like, licensed within my subscription. It's not bad. I mean, now I do wish I could play, like, the jazz I normally listen to, but, you know. I mean, I could, technically. You just wouldn't be able to hear it. I could play it and just strip it out of the stream. But then what's the fun in that? Alright, a lot of chat's coming through. Let me get these soldered, and then I can respond to some stuff. I gotta check these switches, too, because I want to make sure that they're all seated properly. Because there was a little bit of a seating issue there. What are people saying? People are talking about the history of Brazil, it looks like. We're at 53 viewers now. Hello, people who are just joining. For corn, what matrix would you suggest? 3x5 or 3x6? So, we can actually compare that right now on these. Let me zoom out, little shaky cam for a second. So this is technically, I mean, this is a 4x12, but a 3x6 would pretty much be if you cut this in half. So there's a 3x6, you have your shift keys, you have like caps lock, you have escape or tab or something. This here is a 3x5. So I like 3x5 because I can use these keys as shift if you hold them. But I think if you're just building a board, maybe if it's like your first one, it might be better to not go with 3x5. I'd say go with a 3x6 because you're not going to have to deal with as many different like keys missing and stuff. Have you ever thought of doing a subscription-based channel for extremely technical videos like Patreon? I do have a Patreon, Sam, but yeah, I have a Patreon. I don't know. I'm never going to do like a separate channel, but the thing that I don't want to do, and I've had this suggestion from a lot of people too, is like start doing courses or start doing like limited subscription models or something like that, right? Where you have certain content only to the subscribers. I don't like that too much. I mean, I make ad revenue, I make sponsorships and stuff. I feel like it's just a little bit weird if I had like a course. I like providing stuff for free, other than like my PCBs. My PCBs, I'm never going to release the files for those, so I'll say that right now. Like my PCBs are going to be always locked down. Like that's kind of my product, right? But my handwired stuff, all the projects that are handwired, free forever. I'm never changing that. But yeah, let's clip these off. Where's my magnet? Thank you, Scott-O. Yeah, I find that funny when people call me Scott. Like, I never get mad about it. I don't actually get mad about it. I actually find it funny because it's easy. I think some people might think, too, that it's like my name is Scott, and I just added an O on it for some reason. Like, oh, Scotto. Some people call it Scotto, too. That's the common one when people mispronounce it. But it's literally Scott with an O. That's how you say my name. Scotto. That's literally it. Scotto. But, yeah, a lot of people call me Scott. It's always funny. I'm just like, It's actually Scotto. A lot of time I won't even say anything to you. I'll just let them have it. I'll just be like, if they want to call me Scott, by all means, you can call me Scott, you know? It's fine with me. Let's clip these. Okay, this is looking good. And clip this one off. Let me punch you guys in a little bit more. You get you some shaky cam. Here you go. There you go. That's the one thing about having a heavy-ass camera on a boom arm is that you touch the thing a little bit and it just wobbles like crazy. Scott Joe. Scott Joe. That works. That does work. I'm from I have no idea how you say that. Masia? AL. What's AL? What is AL? What country is that? Alright, let's see. Are these all seated right? Do we have... That looks good. Looking good. Looking good. They all seem seated pretty good. I like doing that with these boards when they're like this, but... The flex of the camera. Oh, state. Alabama. No, Sam, I'm pretty sure he's not in Alabama. He's in Brazil, right? Right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Man, this is looking good. I can't wait to type on. Like, I love these. So, the story with this, did you glue them in? No, they're not glued. I have the perfect tolerance that they kind of sit in. I was having an issue, though. The issue I just fixed is that some of them were soldered a little bit too much up, so they're kind of out of the plate, so I had to, like, push them back in to get them seated. I gotta head off, but wanted to say thanks for answering my question earlier. No problem, Joe. And by the way, yet again, nice name. When Joe burns himself, he becomes Scott. No. Yeah, I become Scott more like cursing in pain. I probably shouldn't say this because I'm going to jinx myself by saying it, but I haven't burnt myself that bad or that much with my iron before. Now that I said that, in my next video, fully expect me to have like a full bandage on my hand when I roast the hell out of my fingers, but, you know, I haven't done it before, so I'm pretty good. This bottom row, no, we're good. We need to do some more diode coiling, so we're back to some boring stuff. In Italian, Scotto means burned. I have a soldering iron tattoo. Alright, let's count these out. So this bottom row too, I do want to mention, is that I could probably avoid doing insulation, but it's just easier if I do it up here. Maybe I could. I might try avoiding it. Maybe I could. I'll see. Alright, so let's do some diodes. Let's count out 12. We have 3, 4, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Should be 12 right there. Alright, back to boring old diode coiling. Alright. Let's grab our thing. I missed the first half. Why are you using diodes? Because this has more keys than there are pins available on the controller. I am using diodes in order to do that, so I can use a matrix with diodes. But also it gives you, well, I think actually if you do a direct wired, you do have anti-ghosting also, so, because it can distinguish which switch is being pressed, right? Man, I love this tool so much. I keep saying it, but like, it just makes me happy because it works. Have you listened to Bossa Nova? It's a gender from Brazil. It's a genre from Brazil. Gender from Brazil. It's a genre from Brazil. It's near to jazz. I might have, maybe. I don't really pay attention to the genre so much. Just like whatever I'm vibing with in that moment. I listen to a wide range of music, honestly. A lot of which doesn't have like stuff I could play on stream, obviously, but. Now, my music taste is all over the place a lot of the time. Like, I'll be on rap 1 minute, EDM the next minute, some jazz the next minute. Pretty much I don't listen to country and classical. That's basically it. Sometimes, actually, I would listen to some classical. Oh, not gender. Yeah, I figured you meant genre. I read it gender, though, and I was like, wait, hold on. It's like, wait, musical gender. All right. Yeah, I gotta check out some stuff. Send me some stuff on Instagram if you have it. Jao, I can't say your name, but you know, you message me, so you send me some stuff if you find something cool. Country is S tier. Get out of here, Sam. Get out of here, dude. I cannot stand country. I never have been able to. And like, you know, living in upstate New York, like this area is so much country music, but yeah, no, just no. God, no. Especially on detailed IEMs. Now, if you want to test headphones, Sam, just listen to some prog, some jazz. Definitely not EDM. EDM is not detailed, but want an old music playlist? I mean, if you have one. I mean, I can't play it on stream, but oh, this is live. I 100% thought this was pre-recorded. No, it's not. And you can tell by the fact that I'm reading your comment right now. You see, there's the proof that it's live. I test on shaky. Oh my god, we were talking about Severance earlier, Sam. And that's where the song's from, Shaky Jake. So good. It's like a 12-minute masterpiece, basically. From I think it's like the 70s. But if it's old, you can, because no one has copyright. Yeah, I probably can, but I'm not gonna risk it. I know that it's like runs out after a certain time, but it depends on how they recorded it, if they remastered it. There's all types of like different things there that I have to be careful of. But let's put this off to the side. Let's have some more blueberry pop water. I'm a musician, bass player. I think I've seen some of your stories actually with that. That is true. I play the keyboard. Get it? Get it? I think your website's down. Are you talking about ScottoAlp? Is ScottoAlp down? Nah, there's no way. No, it's up. You gotta check your connection. It is definitely up. Classical is public domain. No, I don't believe it is. It all depends. Like the whole thing. Like recently, you might have saw that Disney released the rights to Mickey Mouse or something, but it was only the Mickey Mouse from like 1930, like the original Mickey Mouse. So I don't know. You gotta be careful with that stuff. Like copyright is not really cut and dry ever. It'll be down soon. DDoS incoming. All right, Sam. All right, bro. Dude's gonna DOS my website. I just screw the switch. Not weird. Yes, Steamboat Willie. Yep, that was the one that finally went public domain. So everyone was like thinking they were gonna be able to post Mickey Mouse and have no problems, and no, that's not how it works. It's only very specific rules on it. I think we might actually, we're definitely going to finish the Matrix on this tonight for sure. I don't know if we're going to get to the wiring, because we're already like 2 hours into this, and I've been pretty damn tired today, so it just gives me another excuse to do another stream tomorrow, you know, if I got to finish it. Because like I mentioned, this is a commission build. I told them, they saw my Instagram story on it, so I don't know if they're actually watching it right now, the person that bought this board for me, but yeah, I will get this done this week and shipped out to them, so either tonight we'll maybe grind for it, or we'll just go another stream tomorrow. Could you just wire wrap the wires around the keyboard post instead of soldering? Just curious. So actually about that, let me grab a piece of this wire here. Let me show you a method that I've done before. So if I grab this and then I strip this, this is just some wire here. This is actually just stranded wire, so we can yank this off. Kinda. Sometimes it doesn't, like, okay, I just ripped it. But if you grab this part here, you can actually kind of like wrap it around them and kind of like tie them all together. So you can do that. It's just, it works better with the solid wire. It's just a lot more sturdy. That's all. So I don't typically do that. I've done that on one board though. Let me actually show you. I can show you the Scotto mouse. So we have this here, and if I zoom in on, oh, I just killed everything. Do we still have chat? Let me make sure. Kill my browser. Someone say something so I can make sure we have chat. See, I see something here. Let me look at this chat. Okay, there. We got chat back. I have a plugin that runs, and if it closes my browser, it delinks it. Have a look at generator Discord for wire wrapping. All right, let me show the Scotto mouse first, because I wanted to show that, because this is the method that he was asking about. We have chat. Yeah, my bad. Didn't mean to yeet my browser. So yeah, this here, if you look, you can see that I wrapped these together. So you can do that. It's definitely possible, but it's just not as sturdy. It's really good for like direct wired stuff. And then we have in here, where'd you post it? Oh, people are pinging me. What? I haven't tried this before. That looks very like neat, but then I got the playlist in there. Thank you. Sad Sweetness. Yeah, I'm not too sure about the wire wrapping part. All right, so let's go back to overhead. Let's keep working here. Keep grinding this out. That's what we do in the telecommunications world. You do wire wrapping. I know that's what they do for like Ethernet runs. I guess that's just like, what is that? /r cable porn, basically. Maybe, actually, wait, that's a subreddit that I haven't spammed with all my keyboards yet. I call it spam because I guess it technically is, but maybe I can start spamming my keyboards on /r cable porn and start getting some new people from there too. Maybe that's the next one, subreddit I try to take over. All right, let's take these. All right, so yeah, this right here, this one right here, if I put the diode on here, I'm going to have to be super careful of that one. It's not, like, close enough where I'm too worried about it, but you can see that if I point at it, that is very close. So I just have to make sure that it doesn't short out, that's all. And I can kind of push those down, but that's just one I'm going to have to keep an eye on. Make sure I don't get too much solder on it. If it was any closer than that, though, I would be changing that wire out. Family member that built a radio with wire wrapping. I've heard of people doing that. Actually, I think I remember a video when I was younger on YouTube about being able to do that. Like, you make a radio with, like, an earpiece and a piece of copper wire to make, like, an antenna. I mean, that's all an antenna is. It's just copper wire, basically. Did I not wrap enough of these? Do I need one more? I think I need one more diode, don't I? I need one more. Oh no, I have two of them. We're good. Right. So now we need to solder these. Let's actually start with the hardest one, which is this one right here. I am looking at my camera to see this one. This one's very close. You can see that it's not actually that terrible because what we can do, bring some solder into it. We can grab it and then kind of push it to the bottom left of it. And you'll see once I move my big old hand from here, see that that's not actually that bad. So we're good there. I might put like a piece of hot glue there just in case, but I'm not too concerned about it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to cut the stream after the Matrix is done and do another one tomorrow. I am exhausted today. But I do like the new time on this. I think it did the 8 p.m. work out for a lot of you? I think it did, because I'm seeing a lot of new people in here. I mean, we have a lot more viewers. I think we're probably going to drop off now that it's, like, getting later. Because 10 p.m. on a weekday, I mean, for a lot of people that work, like, you know, that's bedtime, right? So I think, like, 8 p.m. is kind of a more reasonable time to stream, and I think we kind of hit some more international people too, because it's like late at night for them, I guess. I don't know. It was a lot easier jumping for me. Yeah, pretty good time for. So in Australia, it's like noon probably at 8 p.m. right? 14 hours or like 10, something like that. I mean, I guess it depends on where in Australia, but I think it's like 14 hours. I think. Imagine when it's 4 a.m. on a weekday. Is it 4? Oh, no, it's not. It's 4 a.m. for you now, right, Dr. G? Pretty sure it's 4 a.m. at this point for you. 2 p.m. in Melbourne, so that's 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, 16 hours. Damn. Is that on east or west of Australia? That's Western Australia, right? Right, there are those. Another method I can actually try here and show you is that if you don't know if you have all your diodes on, you can just flip it over and do that. And if any fall off, you'll know. So, have you ever tried Super Mini NRF 5284? So, I've talked about this a lot. I'm not going to touch on it a lot because I think a lot of people heard of it. The NRF 52840, responding to this thing, it's a clone of the Nice Nano. I don't recommend it because it's literally a ripoff of the Nice Nano, and Nick can't do anything about it. I've talked to him about it. It's just kind of how it is with Chinese stuff. They just rip off stuff. But it has issues with power. Like, it has a higher power draw than the normal Nice Nano. So if you want to like support a ripoff, then that's fine. If you can't afford the Nice Nano, maybe it's fine too. But just be aware that it is a clone. Like, I'm not going to ever use them. I refuse to use them because it's a ripoff and I can afford the real Nice Nanos. But if you have no other option, then it's definitely a choice you could do. So Melbourne is East Coast. Remove another 3 hours for Western Australia. Okay, so it's further back, or it'd be closer, right? If it's like on the eastern or western coast, it'd be like, yeah, I guess, yeah, that makes sense, because in California it's 3 hours behind here. I think that makes sense. That makes sense to me, at least. All right, so we have all these. Let's grab a copper wire. Is that one long enough? That one is not. Let's grab a different one. Is that one long enough? That one is also not. Hey, what do you think about home row mods? I've been trying to make it work with QMK, but I haven't had much success. Don't use them. I hate them. Well, I type Colmac first of all, so my layout, if you're familiar with Colmac, is a lot of home row stuff, so I find they interfere a lot. I just use thumb mods. So on my board here, I have my thumb here is like my command or control. This is alt or option if you're on a Mac, and then I have like control or other things over here. I find they just work better. Home row mods are just a pain, at least with Colmac. If you're on QWERTY, you use it less. You'll have less issues because you're not on home row as much, but I would recommend taking a look at some of my key maps. If you look on my repo, you can look at my Scotto key map at any board, and you'll get a good idea of how I do my mods and everything. Trying to get this wire straight enough. Let's use a different one. I don't like how that one is. Alright, so we can go there. Let's start doing our intersections. This song is very calming. I don't know, I like the jazz on the stream. It just keeps it nice and, like, chill. I don't know why, but I'm thinking about the Mr. Beastification of YouTube right now. Every video just crams loud shit in your face, and I don't know. I like to avoid that stuff. I don't want my videos to be loud and obnoxious. I mean, eventually, I think I have an idea for a video that could kind of be in that realm of stuff, but it would still be good. It wouldn't be, like, super annoying. Get these aligned. God, this music is, like, really, really calming. Let's grab my lighter. There's those. I don't know, that purple is pretty loud. Your mic is peaking a lot, by the way. Is it? It shouldn't be peaking. I'm watching my levels right here. I'm gonna have to watch this over because I changed a bunch of, like, settings. I don't see that I'm peaking there. So I don't think I am. It could also be the encode on the stream because YouTube uses a really, really low bit rate. But, yeah. audio levels for live is a lot harder than... Oh, the mic is fine. So I actually, for my videos, it's really easy. If you know, I don't know who knows about audio in here, but my videos I record 32-bit floating point audio, which is basically raw audio. Like I don't have to worry about levels at all. On the live stuff, I'm stuck to 24-bit, so I'm kind of limited there, and I can only get my levels so well without like someone else mixing my shit for me. So, okay, I'm not hearing. Yeah, I didn't think I was peaking. Sometimes YouTube can throw that though. It will peak because YouTube is just. It's 160 kilobit audio is what they do. So it's pretty low quality audio, which can peak. I wish they would give us like 320, but for some reason they don't. It sounds like peak if you don't have YouTube Premium. Yeah, I've been on YouTube Premium for years now. I think it's worth it. I don't know. The whole like argument of YouTube Premium with people saying it's not worth it and stuff. If you watch YouTube as like your primary like media, I find it to be very worth it. I enjoy it because I watch a lot on my phone, so never having ads on there is great. And you can't get ad blockers for your phone that actually work either. So that's another thing on YouTube Premium. Yeah, I like YouTube Premium. It's good. And I can actually see in like my ad revenue like percentage from YouTube Premium, so I do see that it actually does pay me something. So like even though you're not watching ads, which is nice. Of course, ads pay more because there's more of them, but click that. There we go. Let's wrap these up. Technically, you can. I'm using YouTube Advanced. Is that the one from Louis Rossmann? Advanced isn't Louis Rossmann, right? That's a different one, I think. Probably not on iPhone. Yeah, no, Dr. G, on iPhone you can't. I know on Android there's something you can do, but iPhone's pretty locked down, so I'll give it to you there, all right? I'll give it to you. You got it on Android. All right, let's wrap these around. Perfect one there. Dr. G just checkmated me with the the iPhone versus Android debate right there. Checkmate. My headphone's falling out too. I don't know. The one place, maybe I'm biased to this because, you know, I'm a YouTuber, right? But the one place that I think ad blockers are not the greatest, and I know a lot of you will probably use them. I don't really care too much, but YouTube, you know, by the ads, it's a percentage to income for YouTubers, right? So that's the one place. But a lot of websites out there with ads, like let's say like big media companies, right, with their ads, it's just absurd. So like I have no problem with like, say if you're going to like, what is it, one of the newspapers, and you go on there, use an ad block all day long. Like, they cram those ads down your throat. I mean, the YouTube ones have been getting a little bit stronger, too. I have been seeing that. But, yeah, I think YouTube, at least you know that it's giving some percentage to your people you're watching. Unlike like a newspaper or something. So annoying when I just try to read an article and I get slammed with ads. But YouTube's anti-ad block sucks, but honestly, it's such an unbelievable wealth of knowledge and hard work creators. I'm happy to go. Yeah, that's how I view it on YouTube. Is like I've learned literally everything I know, almost everything from YouTube, pretty much. YouTube and Reddit. I give Reddit a lot of credit too, but and I guess in return that's like the community, right? But adblock is better for computer security and antivirus. Yeah, that's true too. There are a lot of ads out there that are pretty bad, but a lot of ads are just straight up deceptive too. Like a lot of them really are. I mean, like those game ads, but. Can you recommend something for a good old regular-sized TKL with thumb buttons? Just one huge spacebar. In theory, home row mods should resolve all my problems, but in practice, not so much. Good old regular-sized TKL. The TKL I would recommend right now, actually, and I'm not saying this because they paid me to say it, because they technically did in the video. But the TKL, and it does have its function keyless too, but it's the Daring Run 70F. And this is a board I actually have experience with, and there are issues with it I mentioned in my video, and you can mention in my stream too. But it's $140 if this is what you're looking for, something like this. Maybe it isn't. But it has no 10 key and no function key. It's $139. So I think this is a pretty good option in that right now. And I'm not just saying that because it's sponsored. I feel like I have to say that right now because there are issues with it. They did mess up a bunch of fulfillment stuff to me as like a content creator, but I'll talk about that in the video. But I think this is a good option in like the TKL space right now, especially for that price. But yeah. what gauge wire are you using? This right here is 16 gauge. So that is 16 gauge copper wire. And then this is 14 gauge for the stabilizer. So are those all on? We have to do 2 more. There are ad companies that let advertisers shove JavaScript into other people's websites through their ad platform. Yep, I am aware of that. I used to be a web dev years ago. Years ago, I used to do web development. And yeah, that was a thing. I mean, a lot of ads will literally just load an iframe, which can execute JavaScript. So that's that's a little sketchy, you know? So, I mean, I don't think you have to worry too much with YouTube ads because YouTube is, you know, an advertising platform and they kind of monitor this stuff. I don't think you're going to really deal with that too much. But like general websites, that is a big possibility that you go on there and they just slam you with some ad that runs some JavaScript and steals your shit. That's another thing with PDFs too. You might have saw, some of you probably saw with Linus Tech Tips got their hack months ago through a PDF that ran code and got their login token. So that's something that happens also. Let me make sure these are all right. Let me just make sure that everything's sitting correctly. Yeah, that looks good. Then those look good. Are we all good on the intersections? Everything's looking crisp there. Let's get to soldering that up. I do this so many times where I go to solder, it's just not even on, so there we go. It's like I start doing something, then it cools down and gotta reactivate it. So just pull some heat in. That on. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works with ad blockers on disabling for certain YouTubers too. Is there like certain ad blockers that do that? Because like I use AdGuard and they don't have a setting for that. I mean, I could whitelist certain pages, but like, I mean, I pay for premium, so it doesn't really matter for me, but. You just go and turn. Oh, literally just literally turn it off. I was thinking there was some more like method to this madness here, and not just literally disabling it. Yeah, I have heard a lot of people do that though. I've heard of a lot of people disabling it, which is good too. That's helpful. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's like a numbers thing, right? Like, if one person doesn't watch an ad, we're talking pennies, right? But if all your viewers don't watch them, then yeah, you know, it starts to add up. But like I said, it doesn't really bother me. I know people are going to use ad block. So it is what it is. Turning off those stupid cookie messages via ad block. Yeah, those ones are annoying. Those are annoying when every website you go to, hey, we're using cookies. Oh, well, no shit. It's the modern internet. Of course you're using cookies. You know, I guess for legal reasons you have to tell us, sure, but, like, I get it. You're using cookies. Duh. Like, that's how the internet works, right? It's literally how everything works on the internet is cookies. Cookies and sessions, like. It's literally called the... Yep, and ad block, and AdGuard, I have the annoyances list. It will disable... It will also disable, like, the share buttons. So, like, you have the share to Facebook, share to, like, RSS and all that shit. So, Dr. G, thank the EU for that. Yeah, no one else you could thank the EU for, actually, and I thank them every day for it. That right there. USB-C on my iPhone. Let's go. Thank you, EU. I appreciate it for making stubborn-ass Apple add a USB-C. But then they only add USB-C 3 on the iPhone 15 Pro, but then the regular iPhones get that slow-ass USB 2 speeds because, you know, Apple. When they could have just used the same controller for both, but they didn't. So, I don't know. Fun fact, actually, I don't know if any of you know this, but all my videos with face cam, other than this, right, this is a webcam, but my main videos are filmed with my iPhone. The new phones are really good for video. But, which I'm actually impressed with. I'm very picky on the video I shoot, and, like, the fact that I can shoot with an iPhone, absolutely wild. I just got an iPad mini 6th gen today. Hey, Zach, I have an iPad mini 6 too. I love the iPad mini. I use my Pro, my 12.9 more because it's just a bigger iPad, but my mini I use for my drones and stuff. It's just great for that. Or like just general media consumption. It's still a proprietary cable. No, it's not proprietary. Proprietary. No, that's literally just a USB-C. There's no proprietary to that. It's just straight USB-C. It works with any cable. Alright, so that looks good. Let's do the last one. We need 6 more diodes, or 7 more diodes for this bottom one. What switches are you using? These are Echo Lavender Purples. Originally, it was going to be Holy Pandas, but there was an issue where basically the ship date came around from drop. So the ship date came around, and then 2 days passed. I messaged the client for this one. I was like, hey, they're taking forever. You want to go something else? I was like, I like the Echo Lavender Purples a little bit better. And they're like, sure, we can go with those. And then sure enough, literally later that day, Drop messaged me saying that it's going to be another like 3 months to get the Holy Pandas. So yeah. If they did proprietary, they would get fined. Yeah, Dr. G, that's true. If Apple went proprietary, they would have gotten in trouble because it had to be within a standard of USB-C. Huge part of audiences on mobile and smart TV. They're becoming like cable TV. Yeah, the streaming stuff is basically taking over cable now, but it's kind of a double-edged sword there where, you know, you're paying for 50 different services, and you can't really, like, steal any of that stuff either, you know? I mean, you can pirate everything, right? But, you know, you can't, like, get free TV too much. There's only so much you can do there. Proprietary cable situation is a real problem these days. Yeah, it is becoming more of a problem, and I don't know why. I mean, USB-C, too, is a problem in itself because there's so many different specs for it, right? There's not just, like, one USB-C cable isn't necessarily a USB-C cable, if that makes sense. Like, it will have different data transfer rates, it'll have different, like, power outputs. There's all these different specs to this stuff, and it's just so annoying where it should literally just be, there's a USB-C and then a faster one or something like that. You made that whiny thing? Yes, I did. It's on the repo or on my website if you want to just buy one. It's called the Scotto Coiler. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. USB-C is only the plug. Yeah, and then there's like the, what is it? The USB-C, and then there's the PD rating. There's the all types of thing. I think they mean the cable that ships with all iPhones is the slower capacity. I believe you need to buy a different cable to get the fast speeds in the Pro mod. Yeah, Jesse, that is actually probably what they mean. The one that comes with the iPhone is just USB 2, even with the Pro. So you do need a faster cable. I mean, that too is like, just why? Why would they do that? Like, really? I mean, it's just Apple being Apple, if we're being honest here. Apple being Apple. So, Apple gonna Apple. I mean, I'm a diehard Apple fan, but like, some of the things they do is just, it's just dumb. Ricky, I got off the stream about an hour ago where you were coiling diodes only to come back to this. We're actually on the last ones, okay? There's no more diodes after this. We're getting there. We're cooking. $1,500. Then there's all the technologies run through it. $1,500. Yeah, iPhones are expensive. I think it's worth it. I mean, to me, it's, you know, I've been on iPhone for so long, but also it's a camera that I can actually use, and it's always on me. Like, definitively, Apple does have the best video on a phone. Like, I will say that, and it's been proven. It's actual fact. Like, they do have the best video on a phone, so that's a big deal for me. But, I don't know. Like, my streaming computer is actually Windows, and I used to be a diehard, like, screw Windows person, right? Like, I hated Windows. But ever since getting this mini PC thing, like, $300, and I got a PC that actually runs, so I was like, damn, it's actually not bad. It's Windows 11, and damn. So, it makes me wonder a little bit sometimes. Video, yes. Photo, no. Photo on the iPhone it's okay. It's decent. Yeah, I don't know. Photos, I don't judge as much. As long as it can shoot, you can get away with video. Like, you can get away with video with mediocre lenses and stuff. I mean, not that the lenses on the iPhone are mediocre or anything, but you can't get away with it as much with photo. Photo's a little bit less forgiving, right? For the most part, you get a cheap Android that does the same at a fraction. You won't get ProRes on an Android, that's for sure. I mean, there might be some that do it, but you won't get ProRes log from an Android that I know of, which is a very big deal for my quote-unquote professional workflow, right? The Scotto dyed lead swirler. Trying to pronounce. Aqua lavender purple. Oh, yeah, you're responding to them. I'm using aqua lavender purples. You actually get 14-bit raw video with Android. I think I saw something about that. So the problem with phone cameras, this gets into like some real nitty-gritty video shit here, is that pretty much all of them shoot what's called variable frame rate, right? And it's what a lot of, like OBS right now, this is variable frame rate too. This is gonna get real nerdy here, but basically, where's my solder? Where's my solder? And I need to remove that. Hang on. Basically, variable frame rate is that the frame times aren't the same, so it causes issue with audio syncing. And it's just because the phone's trying to be a phone and a camera, so it can't dedicate everything to video encoding, and that causes issues with sync. So no matter what phone you have to do like a transcoding process. I do it on my iPhone. Every video has to get retranscoded after I shoot it. It's just a pain in the ass. It's one of the limitations of shooting on any phone, but I'm able to shoot ProRes RAW or ProRes Log, and it works good. So I'm getting very interested in those switches. Yeah, no, the lavender purple are great. They're affordable, they feel good, and like I really think that this build originally was going to be Holy Pandas, but I think that they're better than the Holy Pandas. The Holy Pandas feel kind of mushy to these. These actually have like a tactile bump. The Holy Pandas, I would say, are closer to like a brown. I mean, nothing can come close to a brown. Browns are terrible, but I hate browns. Some people give me like slack for shit talking browns, but I don't know. I've never enjoyed browns too much, except when I was like a beginner to the hobby and all I had were browns. I mean, we all kind of start there. But once I got a real tactile, I think my first like real tactile was a Silk Blueberry, NK Blueberry. Those switches were great. And you can't really find them anymore, but yeah. Right, there are those. All soldered on, good. Let's grab our wire. Put a smaller one. Oh, that's gonna work perfect. Let's go. All right, where's my paint marker now? See, this is what happens when you hand wire stuff, is you just lose shit all the time. There it is. I do have browns, Otomo browns, really considering upgrade, and maybe I'll pick the lavenders. Yeah, no, I highly recommend the lavenders. Seriously, like, they are really good. They're super good switches. I really think they're, like, the best switch Acco makes. They're just so good. So there's that. Can Arduino Pro Micro be good for a keyboard? Yes, that's what I'm using on this. I'm using just a Pro Micro here. The only reason that I recommend... Oh, Ruby Keys, hi. The only reason I recommend any RP2040 stuff is just more modern, and you basically get a lot more bang for your buck. They have 2 megabytes of flash, whereas a Pro Micro like this only has, 32 kilobits, or kilobytes. So they're just a much better board to get the RP2040 stuff, but Pro Micros have been around. They're well supported. They're a pretty good option, you know? But I would recommend going RP2040 if you have the weight or have the choice to do it. Let's get some heat shrink on here. Ricky, I've only used linears and clickies back in my high school clueless gamer days, but I want to try tactiles next. Yeah, tactiles are nice. My favorite are linears, really. I do like linears, but tactiles are kind of a hack, too, to make your board sound good. Like, they're just kind of a hack there, which is nice, but... Alright, I have to be really careful with this now to get these where I need it. Right, let's see. That's completely out of focus, but you get the idea of what I'm doing here, right? You get the idea. There we go. I burned myself. Alright. Don't burn, don't burn. Okay, Jesus, that's so close to my finger there. That is so uncomfortably close. Alright, let's do this quick. Let's get it on there. Alright. Good, we did it. Alright, so. Seeing this just makes me think that if QMK implement Japanese duplex matrix to be a game changer. Yeah, I've heard, a few people have told me about duplex matrices now, and eventually I'd probably want to figure it out, because it allows you to get away with, like, no pins, basically. You can get so many more. But, yeah, I don't know. It's super complicated from what I've seen. Like, it's way out of, like, my comfort zone for knowing how to do. I need to also pop this one in. Why is that not melting? Can that melt? There we go. Just gotta make sure that all the switches are in right. Don't burn myself. Right, that one's on. It's a little bit close for that standoff, but we'll be able to fix that. Actually, if we just pull this up. Tweezer. Perfect. These tweezers kind of work, but also kind of not. Well, U4Ts are among the thockiest, aren't they? I think so. I built one build with U4Ts before, but they're expensive. U4Ts are really expensive. I think you can get, like, I think 110 of them from AliExpress is, like, I don't even know if that's, like, real ones or not, but I think it's, like, $70. Or it's, like, $70 for 70 of them. It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know why, but the jazz going on right now and then seeing Japanese duplex matrix reminded me of, I listened to Jiro Inanaki. It's Japanese jazz. I wish so much I could play that on here because it's the greatest music ever, but I get copyright stricken, but it's so good. Maybe I'll stream eventually and just not upload them as VODs, and then I can play whatever I want, but as of now, no. Background music is awesome. Yeah, this reminds me of that, what I was just saying, Jiro Inaki. Inaki, I can't pronounce it, but you know what I mean. The Nice Nano seems like a nice chip, but I tried putting in a cord and no luck on my end. It should just be a drop-in for the Pro Micro, so it should be. Just gotta roll that up. Yeah, I am definitely vibing with this song right now. I'm gonna favorite this one. That's pretty good. Alright, let's see. Alright, everything looks like it's good there. Let's do these. Let me actually cut off this end now. Let me cut that off first. Big ones. I used to always use the same snippers, so I have these here, which are just smaller ones. I use these bigger ones for this copper wire when I can because I don't want to break my smaller ones because they're kind of more fragile. So I just kind of use these. Look away while I snap that one off. My first time on stream. Well, welcome. Let me know what you think. We're like towards the end of this. I'm probably going to do the code part tomorrow. I might actually get the code done tonight because I can do that. But I'm probably going to wire it up tomorrow on a different stream because it's getting kind of late now. But alright, let's start. Making sure all my intersections are good. We look good. Some solder in there. We're still pulling 53 people. It's insane to me that I have 50 people hanging out with me right now. Watching me build a board. Maybe working on their own boards right now. That'd be even better than working on their own boards while we build boards together as a group. Oh man, I am vibing with this song right now. This is good. Gonna pull that one over more. Dude, if you built a kit everyone could purchase to do it, it would be fun. I've thought about doing kits before. The kits are just kind of hard to do with this type of thing because there's so many moving parts to it. The cases are the hardest part, having to print a bunch of cases, but it would be cool to have like a follow along stream, like a paint by numbers, but a solder by numbers, right? Just got my 3D printer a few days ago. Now I can make a keyboard. Yeah, send it. That's the only reason I own 3D printer. Well, I mean, there's other reasons, of course, but the main reason is to make keyboards. So, I've heard this song with a Brazilian singer. Yeah, I could try to find that. I forgot what the song was, though. I'll have to look. Alright, are those are all on now? We are good. Snip these off with my... Bam. Bam. So now what I have to remember to do, actually, because I didn't do this last time, is I have to get a picture of this. I gotta get a picture of this so I have it for my Reddit advertising later, basically. Let's take this. Open my camera. Let's clean off my lens. Good old shirt, clean off the lens, you know. Take a picture. Bam, got the photo. I built my first keyboard a few weeks ago. Share it. Share it in the Discord if you're not in there. There should be a link in the description. And then you can share it in the showcase if you built your first one. Scotto, have you done any videos on splits? I have. I don't know. You might not have seen it. Let me switch to here. Let me show you. So this, I've done this board, the Scotto split. It's the one with the VGA cable, so this is a split. I mean, technically it's a video. I didn't do any, like, it's not a full split, right? It's just a, it's passing the matrix over the VGA, so you can kind of see the wiring is wild. This is like a year. When did I do this one to? When was this? November, oh, like over a year ago. But yeah, you can see we're passing the matrix, so one controller passed the matrix over. Oh yeah, I did do the Lily 58 too, that is true. Can we add RGB LED on this build? Yes, you can, and I actually want to show this if I can find it. One moment. Where did I put it? I have an RGB thing here I wanted to show because it's cool. I might have lost it. Did I lose it? I don't know where I put it. Oh, it's right there. Okay, here, cool. Go back here. So this is something I'm messing around with. This is just an RGB strip, right? That's just an RGB light. And I'm gonna not blind myself with it, but if I look away, you see those light up, right? So that you could technically add to this if you had enough pins. You just need 3 pins. You need so we have a +5 here. This is 5 volt. We have a ground here, and then the middle one is data. And these are just programmable LEDs, so you could add this to the back of it technically and get it to shine through the case or something. But, they mess around really sells the homemade vibe. That's going to get a lot of Reddit gold. Yeah, my stuff always, like, blows up on the subs. Everyone likes my stuff because, you know, I release it for free, so they can build it if they want to. But we have this now. Let's start assembling the case a little bit just because we can. Just so I have it. Maybe I can get an idea of sound on it, too. But also, I don't know if I mentioned this. The case has that shelf in it, you can see. I mention this every time I do a build, but they're not going in there. Don't tell... Oh, wait, you know what? We have a... I have to fix this. These are a little bit too long here. Really long. That should be good now. There we go. So now it sits in there. But yeah, that kind of sits on that ledge, and that feels good. Everything feels good with this so far. I love the textured bottom. The bamboo textured bottom plates for the printers actually do the best out of any texture plate I've used. The, like, Bamboo Labs official ones, but I need to grab some screws over here. Some screws and some standoffs. So we need 8mm standoffs. Where are they? Right there. We need some 8mm ones. I think we need for this, how many do we need? Let me punch you guys out so you can see a little bit more. So I think for this we need 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so we need 11. 6, 8, 10, 11. There we go. Get those. And let's grab some 4 mils for the bottom. Rapid Forge. Yo, I love your videos and keyboards. Going to do a couple of videos on the Scotto Wing. It'll be my first Handwired keyboard. The Scotto Wing. Wait, Scotto Wing. Which one was that? Yeah, that's the low profile one. Yeah, that will be cool. That will be cool. Link up to me. I'll take a look. But also, I applaud you for doing that for your first one because that one is a little bit wild with the the screws and the wiring and everything on it, but it should be a cool one. We got those. This was an AliExpress special here, this bag of screws. It says 5mm there, right? That says 5mm. They're 4mm. Thanks. So I have a bunch of 4mm ones there that aren't actually 5mm, and it is a pain in my ass. So we need 11 of these. But these are fine because I'm going to be using them on the bottom, so they're long enough. But 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Perfect. Get these on the bottom. Alright, let's grab my screwdriver. I'm actually working on my board, but on the software side, I got an old GMMK TKL from 2020. Someone ported QMK for him, customizing the layout. So was that originally QMK supported, or was it like a hack? Did you have to hack it to make it work? Because I know on a lot of those like pre-built boards, you have to do that. There's like hacky stuff you can do to get them to work. All right, let's start assembling this bottom. This is like some like funk. This is not bad either. Ooh. This is not bad at all. I think you guys can see too much of this right now, but I'm just putting the standoffs on. Probably turn this off also. People started playing funk at our gym. It's just so damn good to work out to. Yeah, I enjoy funk. I don't know if this is technically funk, but I think Red Hot Chili Peppers are funk, actually. I used to listen to a lot of them. This is really good, though. Damn. I'm vibing with this. So you can see those are the countersunk screws. So nice. They just kind of sink in there and disappear. And I like to avoid, like, Phillips heads. So these are Allen key, which is great. At the gym, hearing funk is better than spelling funk. I would agree. Absolutely. Look at that gym funk smell, you know? Oh, come on. Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? That gym bag funk. Thank you, Rapid. I appreciate that. I'd definitely like to see it, because I haven't seen anyone else build the Scotto wing yet. Going to sleep in a few hours. Good luck, have fun, all and so on. Well, good night in a few hours. Sleep well. Because I know I'm going to after this. I'm going to try to sleep a few hours. At least said in a few. So yeah, good night. I'm going to sleep well after this one, though, for sure. I'm exhausted today. My head in that frame now. I don't remember. Did I print this at 0.12? I did. You can kind of tell on this one if you look there. You can see how nice that, or how smooth that gradient is. I got like grease on. I'm gonna have to clean that off, but yeah, like that curve 0.12. It just prints really nice. Alright, we have 2 more screws? Yes, 2 more. Oh my god. Balancing on this edge is so hard. Have you thought about making your own MIDI controller for audio mixing? I'm not sure how that would work. I haven't thought about it. Well, actually, I did make the one thing. Which, click, click, click. I made this, the other stream. I did do this one, which has knobs, which you could probably do for that, depending on how you can, like, program it, but Nothing specific for like audio mixing with MIDI. I'm not sure how the firmware would work with that. Like if you can get a MIDI signal, because I think it's different than like a keyboard signal. Did you use variable layer height or 0.13 throughout? If I was on an Ender, I would have used variable, but I'm on a Bamboo, so I just used 0.12 for the whole thing. It was fast enough. But I could use variable. I don't like how they do it though in Orca Slicer, because I have to use Orca Slicer for the Bamboo. It's like it's really hard to get it accurate with what I want. You can do like a layer modifier too, but it's just 0.13 throughout and it's fine. But yeah, those are all in there. So this would then sit in there. Let's make sure we got that. That sits good. And what I want to do, let me take a picture of this like this so I have it, just so I don't forget. Is there something on my screen? I'm looking at my screen there. Does it have... Looked like it had something on it. Let's take a picture of this. Just want to make sure I don't forget these. My watch all of a sudden is reminding me that at 5 p.m. earlier, my heart was at 110 beats per minute. Okay. You know, that's real relevant right now at 10:46. Thank you, watch. I appreciate it. Now, the other thing, too, let's make sure these are all aligned. It looks good. So, yeah, I think what I might do now... Let me test the spacebar. I just want to make sure the spacebar is still good after everything's in there. Just put this on. I can switch to this view, actually. Let me switch to this view. I want to show you the typing view, because I have a new... And it switches to a different mic. This is the reason I'm switching to this, but if we switch to the typing view... Do I have it here? Is this typing view? Yeah, that typing view. So we have this view here, but you'll be able to hear... Tell me if this sounds weird, but can you hear the spacebar? So you can kind of hear there's like no rattle to it. So it's like... I'm very happy with that. Got a good spacebar on it. But I think... Let's look at how some of these other keycaps look on. I just want to see really quick. And these do have an orientation to them. They have that on the back. The fuzzy goes towards the back, so I put that back there. And yep, perfect tolerances. Switch to the typing view again so you can hear. Yeah, for sure, Dr. G. If I'm going to do actual sound tests, I will mute the music, but just for this, just... You can kind of get an idea of how that will look. So yeah, I think I'm going to end this here, actually. I don't really want to, but it's already 11 o'clock, and if I started doing the other part, I wouldn't be able to sleep until I got it done. So I think what I'm going to do, actually, is this is where we're at tonight with it. We got the entire matrix wired up. So we have the whole matrix there, like that. And tomorrow, I'm going to probably stream the rest of this. This way I can finish it up in another stream tomorrow. So, yeah. When do you start using Colmac? Is it better in split keyboards and stuff? About a year ago, I switched to it. Year and a half, maybe. I find it better. It's just everything's on home row. So, like, you kind of sit like this and you just kind of don't move. Those lavenders are really growing on me. They're great. I love the lavenders. Actually, this is what we can do right now just because I can. Let me switch here. Let me move my other keyboard out of the way. I actually have alternate views here too, so I can kind of show the top down too. That's something I wanted to point out. I have like 2 different ones, so I can switch those. I got my whole deck thing figured out. It works really good. But what we have is we can go to... Let's go there. Because I want to show Dr. G the lavender purples. Where are they? Do I have them here? I just want to show what these sound like when they're on a board, because they sound so good. This was them. Oh, I gotta mute this too, because if I play the music, it's copyright music, and I don't have a subscription for it still, so they play that. Pause my music. So you can hear. Why does it have a green bar at the top? What is that? Is that always there? Was that green bar always at the top of this video? I don't even know. But yeah, that's what they sound like. Those are the lavender purples. But yeah, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna end this stream here. We've been going for just about 3 hours. I think it was pretty successful. We got half of this done. And then the goal is tomorrow I might stream in the afternoon maybe. I do have to do a video still, but yeah, I'm gonna finish this up tomorrow because I have to do the firmware and I have to wire all the columns up, and it's getting late now. I'm hungry. We've been streaming this for 3 hours, so we'll finish it up tomorrow. And yeah, so I'll watch chat. We'll hang out with chat for another few seconds, and then I'll hop off of this. But yeah, anyone have anything else before I dip out? Let's see. I'll wait around for a few more moments. I never know how to end these streams properly either. I could just yeet out and be like, see ya. Yeah, Dr. G, go to sleep. Go to sleep, all right? It's probably almost 5 a.m. for you, all right? You got to get some rest. How is Orca Slicer? It's good. If you have a Bamboo printer, don't use Bamboo Studio. Just use Orca Slicer. It just works better. It's the same. Bamboo Studio and Orca are the same, but like, yeah. Do you prefer linears or tactiles personally? Linears, but I also like tactiles. I don't really like, I'm not picky with switches, if I'm being honest. I just kind of pick something, use it, and then figure it out. Much thank you for the stream. You're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But yeah, anyway, I'm a dip out now, guys. I could sit here and answer questions for hours, but I gotta go eat, and I'm gonna go do that. And Dr. G is gonna get some sleep. So yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll either be live at maybe like 3 Eastern, maybe, which will maybe, or 8. I don't think I'm gonna do many like 10 PMs anymore. I kind of like earlier. I think earlier is kind of nice because like this is nice right now. I'm ending this at around 11 o'clock. I'll be able to go like play some video games, get some sleep, you know, instead of ending at like 2 a.m. So anyway, guys, I'll see you guys next time. I'll be on tomorrow. If not tomorrow, the next day, but I do have to get this out this week because I told him, so we'll see what happens there. But anyway, I'll see you guys. Good night. Thanks for sticking around.